And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internet, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and I don't know where to start. First of all, did you get your bank deposit when it was supposed to be there? You getting direct deposit? You getting your check from your job on Friday? Did it reach your account? Did it not reach your account? Did it give you partial? Did it give you all of it? And don't let them give you partial and be like, oh, okay, you good. I've had that go down with the IRS, which is why I don't do direct deposit from IRS. Oh, we gave you some of it. That's good. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, Sam Bankman-Fried, aka SBF, has been convicted on all charges related to fraud and money laundering as a result of the whole Ponzi scheme that he was doing with FTX and Alameda Capital, or Alameda Research. But what about the political funding? What about the Maxine Waters air kiss that he got in court while he was talking about all this? We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, Bill Maher gets confronted about his double standard when you're talking about election integrity, things of that nature. It's terrible when Donald Trump asks a question, but when anybody else asks the same thing, you give her a pass. We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And let's get some light. That might help. I appreciate you guys for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That will help me out tremendously. We got a whole lot going on. We got quite a few videos to cover that I've not covered during the regular everyday videos that I put on the channel. We have a lot going on, and you're right about that. SBF did not delete himself. All right. And a quick reminder before we get into the sponsors and everything, your clocks go back tonight, right? Am I wrong? So you will gain an hour. Daylight saving time is tonight, and you're going to gain an hour. So I think what's about 2:00? Well, technically it'd be tomorrow, but you understand what I'm saying. As you're up right now, maybe you go to bed before it happens, but I'll probably be up. You will gain an hour. So at 2 a.m., if I'm not mistaken, it'll go back to 1 a.m. You guys, if I'm right, wrong, y'all please correct me in the comments. That's right. Is it midnight or is it 2 a.m.? You guys got to let me know. And also, I think it matters where you are in the country and in the world. I'm over here on the East. In the Eastern time zone. I'm not on the East Coast necessarily, but I'm on the Eastern time zone. So for me right now, it's 8 p.m. and I think it's going to be at 2 or 3. It'll go back an hour. So you get another hour tonight, but you can look forward to the spring when you lose an hour, which is the worst thing in the world. Whoever made that up needs to get waterboarded, and I'm going to stand by that. So it's 2 a.m. on the East Coast. That's right. So you're going to lose an hour come 2 a.m. At 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, your clocks will go back 1 hour. So at 2 a.m., the time will become 1 a.m. basically. All right. So that's just a quick reminder for you guys to be aware of that. Where I live, I get a pretty good amount of sunlight where I live because the way it works, I'm about 45 minutes from Central Time Zone. Actually, when you go to Alabama, I'm going to do a video about an Alabama story tomorrow. I'm not even going to talk about it right now. It's a crazy story. But anyway, once you get to Alabama, you're in Central. And I'm about 45 minutes away from Alabama. So I'm right at the edge of where it's going to flip over. So I get a pretty good amount of sunlight compared to, let's say, a Bangor, Maine, or somewhere far east. You're not going to have as much. For me, I think sunset is around 7 p.m. So then it'll go to 6 p.m. I think the latest, I think the earliest sunset will be like 5 for me. Some of you guys, you might be getting dark at 4 o'clock, which is crazy. But anyway, We're going to get into quite a few things today. First things first, shout out to you guys, of course, for watching. Thank you guys for being here. Shout out to the sponsors. Shout out to patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these interwebs. Their link will be in the description, or just go to the website, patriotpost.us. Tell them that ABL sent you. Also, go to my merch website, ablmerch.com. That is ablmerch.com. We got the hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more right there on the website. Also, go to my website, anthonyblogan.com. Go to the front page of the website. We got articles for each video that I produce. So if you're ever wondering where a full video is, where one without my commentary is, where the sources, links, whatever you need, it'll be right there on anthonyblogan.com. And of course, go to anthonyblogan.com/contact to find my email address, my snail mail address, my P.O. box, of course, my social media accounts, my Facebook, Twitter, not going to call it X, Instagram, all that good stuff is right there on the website, anthonyblogan.com/contact. And as I always say, if you're ever wondering if you are conversing with me on the internets, the best way to go about that is to check the website. Go to the contact page. If the method of communication is not listed, then it's not me. Quite simply put, if the email says, I cut chickens for a living in Nigeria for $1 a day and I scam on the side at hotmail.com, that's not me. If the email says I eat borscht all day and I lay on my back and I got to get a cherry picker to get out of my house at hotmail.com, that's not me. My email address is very easy to remember. It's contact@anthonyblogan.com. And if you don't want to misspell it, you don't want to leave out any words or any letters, just go to the website, copy and paste, and then you'll be good to go. Don't even worry about trying to respond to someone who replies to your comment on my video thinking that it's me. It's not me. I'm not going to ask you about Forex or Bitcoin or anything weird like that. I'm just not going to do it, so don't get scammed. Don't nobody got time for that in 2023. All right, so we got quite a few things to get into tonight. We got a lot of videos. There's a whole lot we're going to cover, a whole lot. First of all, I'm going to get into the whole bank deposit kerfuffle, but hopefully you guys got your money, because that was a big thing. Direct deposits not being credited to bank accounts. That's going to be an issue. All right. That's real big, because I know how the game is. Okay, it's the third of the month. You might not have paid your rent yet because you're waiting on your paycheck from your job. I ain't talking about, if you are just not working and you're able-bodied and young and you just getting government assistance. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about you're working a job. You have direct deposit. You are banking on that to be able to get it and pay your rent, or pay whatever you got to pay your car notes. You got things set up on auto pay, everything's electronic, then all of a sudden it's not there. So hopefully you guys got your money, but I'm going to get more into that a little bit later. All right. Now, we got a lot to get into. There are quite a few videos I want to show you guys. There's a whole lot going on. Shout out to Wall Street Silver. Shout out to Clown World. Shout out to a lot of these really good Twitter pages, pardon me, that compile a lot of good stuff that I'm able to show you guys on this show. All right. So thank y'all. If you're watching, I have a really, really good one to start. Really, really good one. Speaking about the reality of the world, you see one thing on Instagram and then a different thing in reality. I'm going to pop that up in just 1 second. Y'all, please hang tight. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That will help me out tremendously. Alrighty. And I got to show another one about these electric vehicles. That's going to be a good one as well. Y'all give me a second. I'm going to pop that up in a moment. All right. So let me show the one about I'm going to show the one about reality versus what you see on the IGs. Perfect. All right, let's get some sound. So And for you guys that can't see it, what this is, it's like a compilation of people on Instagram showing themselves at a certain place. They might be in Paris. They might be at this landmark, that landmark. And the way they show it, it looks really glamorous. It looks really pretty. It looks really nice. But the reality of what's actually on the ground is a little bit different. It's a tad bit different. Let's check it out. All right, we got music and stuff, so I don't want to play that too much. So you see what's going on there, right? You see the Instagram Paris where it looks all pretty and nice, and you got all these nice, you got pretty women and beautiful lighting, and you got the Eiffel Tower, all kind of stuff. It looks real nice, the way they present it to you. But then once you out there on the ground, yeah, NKM, some Photoshop going on. There's a little bit of everything happening. But then once you actually out there, the sights, the sounds, the smells, the taste, it's a teeny bit different. It is a teeny. Stewie PD says it right there. Paris is a slum. Correct. Let's watch it one more time. So look, hold on. So you see, this one is pretty good, right? She has on the bathrobe, and then you see Paris with the Eiffel Tower in the background, and you see something from like Assassin's Creed, some old school stuff, right? It looks really nice. And then it's at night. You see the tower lit up, and she has on her evening wear, and it looks real nice on the inside. Very well done, right? And then you see this, what is this right here? I don't even know what that is. Is that the Louvre? Is that part of the art museum they have over there? I don't even know. So you see the balloons coming out, and it looks real nice. And then this right here is probably actually a fake video. They're not even in Paris. They're just using this picture as a backdrop to make it appear like they are in Paris. But then let's look at the reality of the situation. Look at this right here. Yuck. Is that Paris? For you guys that travel, is that what Paris is like? Yuck. I mean, what in the world? Garbage everywhere. This looks worse than a dump. I go to dumps occasionally to take out some big pieces of house trash. You know, you might have some things that's old in your house you don't need anymore, whatever it is. Sometimes just big boxes or whatever it is. I go to the city dump. And the city dump looks better than this. The city dump is more organized than this street corner in Paris. You guys got to walk through that, man. Please, this is gross. Is it the Louvre? Okay, that's what I thought it was. Now you see the little creepy crawlies, and then here's more. Is this Italy with the canals and everything? And they got them dyed green. And then you see more. It looks real beautiful, right? And then the reality is you got to wear galoshes and everything because you got water all over the place. It's not quite the same. So the moral of the story is Instagram, things you see on the internet is not always what it appears to be. It's not always what it appears to be. All right. Now, here's more. You might see San Francisco. You guys know how San Francisco is, but some tourists may not know. They come to America thinking that San Francisco is going to be nice. They're going to go to the house from what was that? Step by Step? Y'all know what I'm talking about. That sitcom, Danny Tanner, all that. You're going to go hang out with the Olsen twins and everything else in the painted lady houses, and you're going to be on the tram that goes up the hill, and you're going to be running in the street. Ain't nobody going to be there. It's going to be beautiful. But then once you actually get there, it's a tad bit different. Let's check this out. Mentally drained. Now, the caption says, the anxiety we experience just traveling to work daily in the Tenderloin in San Francisco, California is unbelievable. This is overwhelming and mentally draining, not to mention the dangers of the unpredictable nature of this environment. Now, I'm going to pause for a minute. Some of you guys that live in San Francisco or California, hey, ABL, that's the Tenderloin. It's just one neighborhood. I've never in my life seen anything like this anywhere on the East Coast. I've not seen it. Now, they do have some places like this in Baltimore. Not even Baltimore. Baltimore is heroin heaven, and it's nothing like this. Even when they had The Wire, the TV show, and they had Amsterdam, if you guys have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. In the TV show, they had this little area quartered off in the city where they decriminalized drugs, and it was just a lot going on. Even that didn't look like this. And speaking about reality, non-fictional places, you have in Philly, you have Kensington. Even that is not this bad. But in Florida, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, other parts of Maryland, aside from Baltimore, Georgia, Atlanta, even downtown Atlanta, nothing like this.
Stressful situations, but dangerous. When I come to work, this is how I have to get to work every day.
Look at this.
And it's like, just physical. Needles, people get home anywhere. This is not fair. Like, seriously.
I mean, I'm not gonna be able to do it. I don't want anywhere. Yeah, Full House. Thank you. Not Step by Step. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm thinking about the theme song. But yeah, Full House. Shout out to Danny Tanner. Shout out to the Olsen twins. Shout out to Uncle Jesse. Everybody. Joey. Shout out to the whole squad. Is that how Hollywood looks? Also, Santo Bartez? That's crazy. You know what? That's a great question, David Ray. David Ray asks, is that a third world or fourth world country? I think we're in fourth worldville, because third world, the excuse is there's just no money. Nobody, it's just poverty. This is not poverty. This is drugs, because they living in a very rich place. This is drugs. I mean, truthfully, what's the point walking in the sidewalk at that point? What's the point? I'm seeing people in the street as well. You might as well just walk in the street. The sidewalk, the street, what's the difference?
This is the last thing.
So that's San Francisco, you know, more reality, you know. Things are a little bit different. All right. So what was Step by Step? That was Alan Thicke. Oh, okay. That was Robin Thicke daddy. Yeah. Okay, I remember now. Wow, I'm really showing my age. I'm really showing that age. Wow, when did that come out? That was 1991. So shout out to Step by Step. A lot of you guys probably weren't even born back then, or you may have had kids watching that. Shout out to everybody. Oh, and here's something else. When you're talking about some of these areas where they have a lot of the poverty, a lot of the crime, a lot of the drugs and everything else, the main thing you're going to see, well, not the main thing, you're going to see a lot of beggars, people asking for money. Now, I never, ever, ever, ever give anybody on the street any money, ever. I don't care. I don't care what their story is. I done heard all the stories. Quick story. I was going to a meeting in Virginia, at a Panera Bread or somewhere, one of those little coffee shop type places for a business meeting. And this lady just popped out of nowhere like a ghost, just boom, popped out. And had this whole big long story. Oh, you know, my grandson, this, and I was like, man, I can't do nothing for you. Okay, I understand what you're going through, but I can't do nothing for you. I'm not giving you $1. I'm sorry. I didn't say the last part. I was just like, I can't help you. I'm sorry. Your story, I get it, but what am I going to do? Now, this is part of the reason. Check this out. Now, here are some people. Here's some fake beggars, which is very common, which is why I don't give anybody any money. I give to charity. I give clothes to Goodwill. I'll give that way. You want a couch? If I have something I can give you, I'll give you an item if I know you, or I'll give an item to charity, but I'm not giving nobody no money to fuel their drug habit or to fuel their scamming. Watch this.
Before we started recording, he had a big stack of $20 bills.
So look at this. My man is trying to hide the money. Young boy right there trying to hide the money. But right here, you see him counting it. Counting stacks of money. Big stacks.
Before we started recording, he had a big stack of $20 bills.
And he's trying to hide it as they're going along. They're making it seem like, oh, we don't have anywhere to live. We out here with our toys. You know, and they'll do that to you. They'll do that to you. They'll bring somebody that's disabled, somebody walking with a walker. They'll have cataracts on their eyes. Oh, this is my grandma. She's blind. This is my son. He's disabled. All this, that, and the third. It might be a little dog out there with him. He looks pathetic. And then you get guilted into giving them money. Meanwhile, they're counting stacks. Matter of fact, there was a ring out here where I live. And the ring, it was organized. And they would, it'd be cars that would drop people off on certain corners of the city. And at the end of their shift, they would get picked up and replaced with other people. It was like they worked a job as panhandlers. Real talk. So when I see stuff like that, and I also know that a lot of them are just drug addicts trying to get their money to go buy drugs, I'm good. I'm not going to contribute to your drug addiction. I'm not going to contribute to this human trafficking operation. I'm not going to really get involved with what's happening here. All right. I'm just not really with it. All right. Yeah, he looks angry. He looks angry because he got caught because my man was recording him. It's like, hey, why are you recording me? I'm recording you because you're over here scamming people. That's so common. It's so very common. It's not even a thing that's really surprising at all. Not in the least bit. All right. Now, we got a few more videos to get to. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That will help me out tremendously. All right. Where we going to go next? Oh, I almost forgot this one right here. This is probably one of my favorite videos that I put on my Twitter of the charging stations. Now, how many of you guys have electric vehicles? EV, I'm talking about fully electric to the point where you got to charge it. It's not just a hybrid where you can go to the gas station, fill up, and then the gas will power the battery, which to me, that makes sense. If you want to have, I guess, how can I say, if you want to have a vehicle that maybe does better on gas, perhaps, that utilizes less gasoline, a hybrid makes sense because the gas would power the battery versus just having straight batteries and you got to charge it. And it's hard to charge these batteries because where are you going to charge it? You don't have the needed infrastructure. If you live in a high-rise building with 2,000 people and you go on the bottom level of the in the garage of the high-rise and you might have 5 stations, how can everyone have an electric vehicle? How can just a fraction of those in the building have an electric vehicle? If you got 2,000 people or 1,000, I'm not sure how many would be in the high-rise. Let's just say it's 1,000 people and you got 5 charging stations. That's not enough. That's not enough if you want to have even 10% of the building have electric vehicles. So what ends up happening is people try to find places anywhere. They try to go to gas stations. They try to go to car dealerships. They try to go to shopping malls, wherever they can. Now, check this out. This is Burbank, California. Burbank, California, people trying to find places to charge their vehicle. Now, and somebody else says, well, just put it in your garage. Again, if you're living in a high rise or an apartment building, having a garage is not necessarily that easy to do. You know, it's not that common to have a garage. People have houses and don't have a garage. But I think a lot of people live in apartments, townhouses, places like this with no ability to have a garage. There might be a garage, but it's not theirs, you see. So check it out. Watch this. Watch this line to go charge the electric vehicles.
Want to charge your car, huh? Well, don't come here. You'll be here till 3 o'clock in the morning. And that's just the cars that are getting charged. And this is the line of the cars wanting to get charged.
So let's start from the top. Hold on. It's only a handful of chargers. Like, it's this little place behind an Ulta Beauty in a shopping mall parking lot. This might be like maybe 5 chargers.
Want to charge your car, huh? Well, don't come here.
Let's just say it's 10 chargers right there, which is probably what it is, about 10 chargers. And they're all filled.
Be here till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, and then it takes a while. So to charge from 0 to 100 on a lot of these vehicles, if it's all electric, 1 hour. 1 hour, which is ridiculous. Look, if I'm on E, even on my pickup truck with a big 40-gallon tank or whatever that is, even with that, in 5 minutes, I'm in and out of the gas station. 5 minutes, I'm done. 5 minutes max. 1 hour, and I got to wait in line to even get to the charger.
And that's just the cars that are getting charged. And this is the line of the cars wanting to get charged. And this is the great hoax to get rid of gasoline so that you can go sit in a line and plug your car in. This isn't a joke. This is the real thing. It's 11:15 at night, and these are the people who probably, I guess, can't get home. And they're just sitting in their cars, and they're just waiting and waiting.
You see the line? Look, watch the line. Like, he's going to give an angle that shows how far the line is. Watch this. So, look, the line is wrapping around this building. It's going, like, you're going to be there all night trying to find a place to charge. How much to charge, I'm not really sure. Yeah, I don't really know. That's a good question. But the time is the most important thing because, I mean, who has that kind of time? If the money is important, just get an economy vehicle, get a Toyota Camry or a Corolla or something like that gets like 45 miles to the gallon with straight gas. Okay, get you a 4-banger little small car and call it a day. You know, my Camry would get like 35, 38 miles to the gallon in city with no hybrid, no electric, no nothing, just a straight 4-cylinder engine. They have those. Rather than waiting forever to charge your electric vehicle up and don't let the battery catch on fire. Good luck with that. and or good luck trying to replace a faulty battery. You're paying as much as the car is worth for a battery. Yeah. Is it the same as gasoline? The same price as gasoline? Very interesting. But yeah, that's what's going on. Hey, if you want an electric vehicle, I have nothing against you. You know, it's America. It's a free country. You want an electric vehicle? If that's available to you, then go for it. You want a gas-powered vehicle, then go for it. But I think people need to understand that there may be an infrastructure problem. If you don't have a garage, if you don't have access to a charger that'll be available when you need it, to where you could just park it, leave it, whatever, you're going to have a problem. That was in Burbank, California. You're living in a high population area with very few garages, very few chargers. It's going to be an issue. I don't have time. I'm not trying to wait in a parking lot for hours to charge my car. That's just not what it is. And then, you know, who has that kind of time? You got 24 hours in the day. I'm not trying to spend that much time doing that. Now, let's watch this from Jim Cramer. I've not seen this. He's talking about the Tesla trucks and the F-150 Lightnings, which are also electric. And I've heard about the F-150 Lightnings. I think these are all electric. All kind of problems, big problems. Nobody wants these cars. But the Cybertrucks, he might have a point about the Cybertrucks having a hard time selling, because one thing about a lot of, not all, so I don't want anybody to get offended. One thing about a lot of Tesla owners, they're not necessarily big fans of big trucks. Like, I probably wouldn't see a Tesla owner also have an F-150. If you're going to have two vehicles, like, okay, I had two vehicles and I have two now. The two I had before, I had the Toyota Camry, Toyota Tundra. You got a small economy car, it gets real good gas mileage. You can get in tight spaces. And then the Tundra for hauling stuff. You want to go to the dump. You want to do whatever. Inclement weather, if it's snowing, if it's raining, flood, you good. Okay? That's a typical kind of combination. But if you have a Tesla, you're focused on saving money on gas, and maybe even you're trying to do it for the environment. So would you have a pickup truck as a combination? I'm not really sure. And that's what the Tesla truck is, obviously. It's a pickup. It's a big pickup. It's a full-size pickup, if I'm not mistaken. I don't even think it's a mid-size. I don't even think it's the size of a Nissan. What's that? A Nissan Frontier. What's the name of that mid-size Nissan truck? I think it's a Frontier. Yeah, the Frontier. It's not even the size of a Frontier or a Tacoma. It's big.
Phil, let me posit something to you. You know, there was a lot of people. There was a twin blow against Ford. There was obviously the union. People didn't like the quarter. But then there was also this Tesla, this Cybertruck. $100,000 for a Cybertruck.
Oh, did you hear that? Yo, if you want a Cybertruck, 100 bands, as a cool kid say, 100 racks, 100 big ones, 100 big faces, $100,000. And that's probably a base model for a Tesla truck. My goodness. I mean, Elon, you're my guy. You're my man. Shout out to you for buying Twitter. You revolutionized the industry. $100,000 for a Tesla truck? You're bugging. You're bugging.
I have a Maverick, okay? Apparently this does not have the payload of a Maverick, which fits.
Oh my goodness. Wait a minute. A Maverick, that's a little baby truck. That's a little teensy. That's a compact truck. The Maverick, it can't even have the payload of a Maverick.
In a small parking spot on any urban street.
Wait. Hold on. I'll make sure you're saying the right thing.
Payload of. I have a Maverick, okay? Apparently this does not have the payload of a Maverick, which fits in a small parking spot on any urban street in this country. I checked, and the durability of the metal is not there. I wonder whether this man can sell even 50,000 of the 200,000 Cybertrucks, and this may be Ford's era after all of the Sturm and Drang about Sean Fain and how he took it to farming.
Now, to be totally transparent, this is Jim Cramer, so sometimes take what he say with a grain of salt, because he has been wrong so many times. But the facts he's laying out, if it has a payload, if it doesn't have the payload of a Ford Maverick, the little baby truck, and it's big as an F-350, I don't understand the purpose for $100,000. Good grief.
I will say with this regard to the Cybertruck, and we should see the first ones delivered at the end of this month. At least that's the plan from Tesla at this point. It's going to be a slow ramp up in production. They're not even going to get up to where they would consider full production until well into 2025. And I also think you should keep this in mind, given the price point, given the design, given the capability of the vehicle and what it's designed for. It's going for the urban market, particularly those urban markets that are into electric vehicles. Southern California, Oregon, Washington, the coasts. You're not going to see the Cybertruck in big numbers in Kansas City, St. Louis. I mean, it's just not going to sell there. Will there be some? Yes, eventually there will be some. But I do not look at this as one, Sarah, that a vehicle that people are going to say, well, I'm not driving the Chevy Silverado or F-150 anymore. I'm driving the Cybertruck.
It's going to have to be, because, I'm looking at the numbers. Okay, I'm looking at the dimensions. It's 79.8 inches wide. That's the same thing as a F-150. That's the same thing as F-150. Hold on. And the length, 231. Let me see. I'm going to just kind of like do some compare and contrast to see how big this thing is. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, it's too much. It's just way too much. Yeah, it's as big as an F-150 at least. And the payload is less than the Maverick, which is the baby truck. It just makes no sense. I don't get it. I mean, for Jim Cramer, if you're living in the city somewhere and you just want a pickup that's small, I mean, I understand that point. Maybe you want the pickup to fit in your garage. Maybe you want to park it in spaces. That's why I got another vehicle, is because the Tundra and also the F-150 is just too big. You want to go to some of these cities, and like if I want to go to Atlanta, even Nashville, and I'm parking in the parking garage, forget about it. You got that big F-150 in there, you're gonna be stuck in that garage or not even able to get in. So, and the weight, hold on, that's something else. Yeah, thank you for that. Tesla Cybertruck weight, how much is it? 3,000 kilos. Now, what is that to pounds? Oh my goodness. 6,600 pounds. Wow. Elon, what are you thinking? 6,600 pounds? Okay, so for comparison, F-150, that's like 5,500 half ton, right? Let me just make sure I'm saying the right thing. F-150 weight. Yeah, max 5,700 max. That's probably for like a fully loaded a Raptor or something like that, or one of them Shelby trucks. Yeah, on the low end 4,200, but on the high end 5,700 half ton. The Tesla truck 6,600 pounds. How much is an F-350 or like a super? Hold on. Yeah, you're talking about you getting into F-350 territory. The F-350 is 7,300. Now the F-250, what's that? The F-250 is, between 5,600 and 7,600. So that's pretty much what that is. That's crazy. That's totally crazy. Yeah, that's something else, Romer. Crackheads waiting until the charging cord. They will do that in those vehicles. One thing about when I park, especially if I'm in the city of Atlanta for whatever the reason may be, which I don't normally. If I go to Atlanta, I'm outside the city. I'm outside the perimeter, as they call it, OTP. But if I'm inside the city for some reason, I don't leave anything in my vehicle. No charging cable, no umbrella, nothing. No pack of gum. My car is completely cleaned out on the inside. No glove box activity, no under the seat activity, nothing. So if you go in a car, all you're going to be able to do is find nothing. And at a certain point, just leave your windows down. If you're in a garage, leave the windows down. Ain't no point in even rolling your windows up at that point, because it might just bust your windows just because. But don't leave anything in your car. If you leave a charging cable, I'm talking about a regular basic charging cable in your car, they will break your windows to take that. The charging cable costs $3. It doesn't make any sense, but now that I'm smoking crack, if you smoke crack, that doesn't make sense as well. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right. Oh, okay. Somebody says 1 ton is 2,000 pounds and a Tesla is 6 tons. Are you right? Well, I guess I'm wrong. Okay. Well, how much is 1 ton? 2,200. Okay. I got you. Yeah, but that's a mess. All right. Let's keep on rocking here. We got a few more videos. Oh, speaking about security, speaking about having things locked up, check out some of the security at Lowe's. It's a little bit loose, security. But he's not really showing everything in there, because most things you're not going to be able to take like that. But some things, obviously, you could take. But I've seen this kind of security. I saw this kind of security for the very first time. I saw the security for the very first time at where was I at? I was at Ace Hardware. And the gate was a little bit less porous than this. The gate was a gate. Like you couldn't really put a dime through the holes in the gate. But I wanted to get a garbage picker because I think at the 4th of July weekend, they shoot a lot of fireworks in my neighborhood, and afterward, there's a lot of debris in my yard. So, and there was other debris in my yard. So I wanted one of those trash pickers so I can pick up the trash without touching it. Because the thing about it is, it's a lot of spiders out where I live. So I'm not really squeamish about touching certain things on the ground. It's not really a thing. But I don't want to pick something up and there's a spider inside living in there. I want to pick it up, put it into like a little bucket, and then dump all the trash into a bag, tie it up, put it in my bin, and be done. Rather than picking it up, here's a black widow, and then I'm bit and I'm dead. All right, knock on wood. But anyway, so I asked, hey, where's the trash picker? And he takes me to the little spot, and it's a whole gate blocking everything. You can't just take it was a lot of stuff behind the gate. Plungers, random stuff. And I don't live in the back. I live in a pretty good area. So this is going to be the norm, seeing security like this all over the place. Oh, snakes as well. I did absolutely see a snake skin in my yard. It's because, where I live, you have some wildlife. You got coyotes. I hear the coyotes sometimes. Matter of fact, where I used to live down the street, I would hear the coyotes every night. And they sound crazy. I saw the coyotes one time. Because on my old house, we had like a little hill we lived on. And at the base of the hill, that's where I put my trash can for the trash guy to come pick up the next day. And you would see the coyote sometimes come to the trash can trying to find some food. Yeah, but they sound crazy, man. If you never heard a coyote in real life, they sound ridiculous. I don't even want to do the coyote noise, but they don't sound good. I put it to you this way. If you move to an area where they have coyotes and all of a sudden you hear a crazy noise, that's probably it. I'm not scared of spiders. If I was scared of spiders, I couldn't live where I live. I see spiders all the time. I saw a spider just a little while ago in my laundry room. I'm not scared of spiders, but I'm also not a fool. We do have black widows out where I live, so I'm not trying to get bit. Like, why would I put my hand on something and then get bit intentionally? Why not take a precaution? But I'm not scared of spiders at all. I think there's actually some beautiful spiders. I see like the little wolf spiders. I almost don't want to kill them because they're so beautiful. But I'm not going to like go to a black widow and touch it and get bit and die. That's dumb. You're scared of spiders. No, I like not getting bit by poisonous, venomous animals. I mean, or insects. Anyway, let's keep on rocking here. Oh, speaking of trucks, here's something that we got going on. The automation. A lot of jobs are being taken away. I may have shown the picture of the White Castle fry cooks that are now robots. So now let's check this out. All right, here is a robot making the vehicle. This is already going on. Obviously, it's not anything new, but they may really ramp this up in the near future here.
Look at this shit, you guys. They're trying to take our jobs with robots. Look at this spot welder. Look at this shit. They're taking our jobs. Look at this. Boom. Look at this. Look at this.
But also at the end of the day, the customer walks away from it. That's the question. How safe is it in the grass?
Then, when you're ready to do your body work, you just come over here.
So you win some, you lose some.
And
This is
that's
crazy.
great insight right here, because like I kind of let in, I think there's a lot of technicians out there sometimes reading the procedures
I'm confident
and wondering,
that won't be straight
why
though.
did they have me do
Don't
that
tell
when
Pro
it
Spot.
seems like it's easy to just do this
That definitely
instead,
won't be
but maybe
straight.
make a section that's nowhere near.
I mean, the robots are here. The robots are here. Automation is here. It's only going to get better from here. And think about how advanced we've become in a very short period of time with technology. Think about a time before smartphones. As a kid, I remember my granddad had this old school TV. It's a handheld TV. It was black and white, had bunny ears on it. It was like You guys who are of a certain age remember the TVs had the dial on it. You had to like move different dials to get to the TV station. You had to adjust the bunny ears, the black and white. Remember those? And he had that kind of thing, but on the handheld device. And my 8-year-old mind was like, hey, one day we're going to have TVs full color in the palm of our hand. That's going to be the reality. And here we are. Like, this is a TV. I can literally watch TV on here. If I want to watch NFL football or whatever is on, I can watch it right now on my phone. Right now, in real time, full color, HD, all of that. The picture I have, the picture I can get on my phone will be better than what was available on those big 10,000 pound crazy shaped floor model TVs that we had back in the day. It's better on this. So if we've come so far in a very short period of time from the invention of the smartphone to having portable TVs, you could do it at your bank and you could pay bills on it. You could do everything. Imagine how far we'll go in the next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years with technology. It's only going to go up from here. It's only going to go up from here. All right, let's keep on going, though. We got a few things that we're going to cover, a few more things we're going to cover. All right. Now, have you been to McDonald's lately? McDonald's has become everything's very expensive. Cost of living very expensive. It's a whole lot happening. Shop Papa Nia Shelley. That's a funny super chat right there. You got the spider with the pistol aiming at it with the flexing emoji. Yeah, that might be the way to go. Matter of fact, I saw somebody do that on the Instagram reel. Somebody had some kind of gun. I don't know what they had inside the chamber. I have no idea, but they literally shot a spider and it just vaporized. It made it sound like it was loaded with an actual, a bullet, but I have no idea what they actually had in there. Obviously, it couldn't have been the bullet because it was like right at point blank range on the ground in the garage. So it probably would have ricocheted. A spider is not going to be this big. I don't know what they had in there, but if the spider was toast, was it a assault gun? That's probably what it was. Shout out to you, Static. Hey, them CRTVs were heavy. Who said it? Heavy as 10 boxes. Remember that? They were very heavy. But check this out. If you've been to McDonald's lately, what are the prices like? What are the prices like? Let's check it out.
When did McDonald's get the right to sell one hash brown for almost $2.50? My husband and I went and ordered three orders of hash browns, not look at the price because we just thought of habit. Our total with tax came to be like over $7 for 3 freaking hash browns. When did McDonald's get the right to sell one hash brown for almost $2.50? My husband and I went and ordered three orders of hash browns, not look at the price because we just thought of habit. Our total with tax came to be like over $7 for 3 freaking hash browns. When did
$7 and change for 3 hash browns? I mean, what in the world? What in the world? I mean, hold on. Now, a McDonald's hash brown. I'm going to just show it. I'm going to just show you what she says. If you guys have not seen it, if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, just to give you an idea of what we're talking about. A hash brown. All right. So let's check it out. Now, this guy is holding, this is a YouTube thumbnail. He's holding his own hash brown that he made versus the McDonald's. That's not really necessarily important, but you can see the scale in his hand, how big it is. So that right there he has in his hand, one of those, $2.50 for a hash brown. Now, back in the day, I used to go to McDonald's in the morning and get, I think I used to get 2 chicken biscuits and a hash brown. And that might have been like $5, $6. It wasn't a lot of money. But nowadays, that's not going to happen. McDonald's is becoming very expensive. I mean, hey, but that's what happens with inflation. So that's what happens. Oh, and of course, yeah, You're not getting the best quality food at McDonald's, obviously, and you're paying an arm and a leg. Somebody said heart attack brown. The hash browns are good. Don't get it twisted. They're good, but also expensive. And I don't see things getting any better here. But speaking about expenses, speaking about money, let's talk about what's happening with the bank deposits. Have you guys experienced the bank deposit issue? The dollar menu, the dollar menu is long gone. The dollar menu's gone. The dollar store is gone. $1.25 store. And like what many of us grew up on, even some of us who are not necessarily of a certain age. You might be a young person, you might be a teenager. The things that you experienced 3 years ago are gone. Things are much different now, and I don't see them going anytime. I don't see things going back to the way they were. Because one thing about inflation, prices always go up. It's a matter of how rapidly they go up. That's the problem. We're experiencing hyperinflation right now, in my opinion. But one thing they never do is go back down. You don't see these big dramatic price decrease, like reductions. You don't really see that too much. All right. The $5 menu, exactly. All right, let me see. Dollar Tree is still around, but the things cost $1.25 rather than $1. 99-cent store. Oh, that's done. That's totally finished. 99-cent store. When I was a kid, we had this store in the hood. I'm not quite sure if you guys know what I'm talking about, but they would sell like almost expired food. I forget what it was called. It might have been Little Debbie or something. I remember it vaguely. I was a little boy when I saw this store. I can't really remember. It had like the picture of like the Wendy's lady on the front. I forget. But you would go in the store and they would sell nearly expired food or food that had expired, but it was still good. Like a food may have a certain expiration date and the store can't sell it past that time. But what they could do, at least back in the day, they could give it to a certain place and then they could sell it for a certain period of time after the expiration date. Yeah. Do those stores still exist anymore? The Dent Can store, the Dent Can Pick and Save. Oh, how about Rack and Sack? Did you guys ever had that? In Virginia, we had Rack and Sack, Piggly Wiggly. I remember the Piggly Wiggly. Even some of the old places you would go to eat food, Ponderosa, Old Country. A lot of the more affordable places are gone. The Hostess, thank you. The Hostess store. Yes. Thank you. That's exactly what it was. Yep. I remember that. I remember it was a Wonder Bread. Yeah, I remember that. Cause I'm looking at this this picture. I don't know why I was thinking about this. Hold on. So it looked something like this here. This is the store I'm talking about that would have like expired food or like 1 day old food. Yeah, you would see this kind of stuff in the hood. All these are gone now. Yeah, these are gone. The very inexpensive places. It's becoming a thing of the past. So it's rough. Bag and Save, Publix BOGO, the Bunny Bread store. Yeah. All of that. Days gone. For sure. Day old bread store. So now you're going to McDonald's and you're paying $2.50 for a singular hash brown. Look, back in the day, I'm going to tell you about Old Country Buffet. If you guys had never experienced it, Old Country Buffet, you can eat all day, basically, or however long you want it. All you can eat for $10. 10 American dollars. Now, remember, the lady I just put on the screen said she paid $7 and change for 3 hash browns. You go to OCB with $10, man, look, you can go in there and get fried chicken, beef, vegetables, desserts, drinks, sit down, whatever you want. And back in and when I was there, you would see people be in there literally all day. All day they'd be in there. I'm talking about they'd be in there for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now that was uncommon, but still, if you were hungry, hadn't eaten all day, that $10 will hold you down. You'll be good. You could eat whatever. Food deserts. You know, the thing about food deserts, I'm not sure that I really buy that concept. I understand what you mean. I'm not trying to attack you, but it's becoming people are getting their stuff delivered to them. They're buying things online. So when I was a kid, you had to have a grocery store near you because there was no way to have food brought to you. The only thing you could do, like the Swan truck maybe, but there was no delivery service. There was no Uber Eats. There was no Amazon. I mean, there was nothing you could do to get food brought to you. But now you can do Uber Eats or Instacart and have them grocery shop for you and bring the food right to your house. And it's weird because people say food deserts all the time, but then they get stuff from Shein. They get stuff from Amazon. They buying weed and having that brought to their house. They can buy everything else, but they can't buy food. I don't really buy that concept. In days past, that was the thing. But now with all the access you have to technology, I don't really buy that concept. That's not really. A food desert is a place, a neighborhood where there's no grocery store within a reasonable distance. So, for example, many years ago in Virginia, this neighborhood called Berkeley, which is in Chesapeake, well, Norfolk, but different story, South Norfolk, that area. But anyway, there was no grocery store in the entire neighborhood, and it was in the hood. And there was a big issue with the city council saying, hey, we need to get a grocery store in Berkeley. And they finally did it. I think they put a Farm Fresh right there. It lasted for a while, but ultimately it closed because the problem with a lot of these hood places is that they can't really support a store. They go in there and steal. They're not buying enough when they do buy. So you can't support the store. So what happens is people that don't have a lot of money, they might have a vehicle or something like that. They got to go on the bus and go buy groceries. Or what they could do is just use these delivery services and have the food brought to their home the same way, exactly, Walmart delivery, the same way they have their tennis shoes brought to their house, the same way they have their Amazon stuff brought to their house, the same way they have other things they buy online brought to their house. You can get food brought to your house as well. This is not an option up until the past few years, but now it's become very normal. During C-19, this really kind of exploded. But anyway, I digress. Now, let me get to the whole situation with the deposits. Now, there was an outage, and I want to say it's very suspicious to have an outage of the banking system with regard to direct deposits on Friday out of all the days in the week, because the banking system is 24/7, 365. And on leap year 66, it's always happening. There's always a chance for a glitch, a malfunction, or something. So why would the system all of a sudden malfunction on Friday out of all the days in the week? And not just any Friday, but on a Friday right after the first. Now, to me, what that means is this day is going to be a day where there are a lot of banking transactions, because people, a lot of times, they may put their auto pay for certain things on the first. They got to pay their rent on the first. They are going to buy groceries on the first, because what happens, they may have their government checks go out on the first. Government checks get refreshed on the first. If you guys know more about government checks, y'all let me know. Government checks get doled out like right on the first, or the 31st, or the 30th. And I could tell when the checks come out for the government, because when you go to the grocery store, you'll see more people. I'll tell you this, when I was a kid, I know I'm kind of jumping, but I'm going to get back to my original point about the outages. When I was a kid and I was staying in Roanoke, Virginia with my grandparents, for the summertime, we would go to Valley View Mall, and if you know, you know, and on the road to that particular area, it was always super jumping on the first. And I remember I was asking Granny, because I was a very inquisitive little kid. I'm asking questions like, "Hey, Granny, why is there always all these cars on the road? Like, why so many cars on the road? Like right now, like I see it at certain times. I'm a little kid. I'm not able to put two and two together at this point." And she's like, "Well, look, they got their checks. It's the first of the month. They get checks from the government and they're going out and shopping. So I can tell when the checks come out, you're getting higher traffic. They're going to the grocery store and they're buying straight garbage. I can always tell somebody who's getting a check from the government who is able-bodied but does not work. I am not speaking about those who are actually really disabled or elderly or anything like that. I'm talking about you're able-bodied and just don't work and get a check. I can tell them from a mile away by their cart, by their shopping, by their buggy. What's in your buggy? You got frozen food, all kind of garbage, and it's to the top, loaded to the top. Obviously, you're not going to eat all that. It'll get thrown away. It's not going to get utilized. And if you do eat it, it's going to tear you up. It'll tear you to pieces. But anyway, I think those checks go out on the first. So you have that and regular paychecks coming out. So what'll happen is you may have people that get checks, go to the grocery store, buy things with their stamps, and then buy other things with their regular money. Plus, they got to pay bills, they got to pay rent, car note, et cetera, so on and so forth. I think this was done on purpose because it was a really high volume day, and maybe, just maybe, some of these banks don't have it. Some of these banks don't have it. So if everybody wants to go and pay bills, oh, wait a minute, we don't got enough to cover it. Or we don't have enough money to cover what you're asking for. Now, that might be a tinfoil hat conspiracy theory, but I'm just thinking it because, again, why would the banking system have a problem with being able to post your direct deposit right on Friday, which is payday, and within the perimeter of the first of the month? It's just, I don't really understand it. So basically, here's what happened. The Federal Reserve commented on this and said that there was a human error with ACH. That's an automated clearinghouse. This is the method upon which you get your direct deposit. You go to your job, you fill out a form for ACH, and what'll happen is on a certain day, probably Thursday, going into Friday, 12 midnight, or whatever the particular time is for you, your check will get debited. It'll get credited to your account. So you go into your app, whatever you have, Bank of America, whatever, you go on your app at 12:01, the money should be there, or whenever the time is. But what was happening is people's money was not there. So now, hold on, where the money at? I got rent to pay. The first has passed, but I might have been waiting on my check to hit on the third that I got from my job to pay the rent. I'm within my 5-day grace, so I'm good money. I'm not incurring a late fee yet on my rent. But if the check's not there on the third and I'm calling you saying, hey, where's the money? You're like, we don't know. We're trying to fix it. Meanwhile, I still got to pay. So when I was living in Virginia, if you went beyond your 5-day grace, you had a certain amount of money you had to pay. And if you went beyond that, it was even more. And I remember my rent at one point was like $800. This is years ago. I mean, rent that low for an okay neighborhood is a dream nowadays. If you're living in a decent neighborhood where they don't smoke crack all day and shoot guns all day, and you don't have roaches as your roommates, that kind of place, $1,600, $1,400 in a mid-sized city. Maybe if you live here, I know places here in Chattanooga, maybe $1,200. You might, if you pay $1,000 here in Chattanooga, you'll get a couple roaches for sure. Pay about $1,500, you might see a water bug, a palmetto bug. Same thing, ABL. Nah, once you go to the better place, you're gonna see fewer of the roaches. You won't see too many Germans. You see them big palmettos. You see some of those. Those are better. That's a more bougie roach than the German roach. The German is just all over the place. The palmetto, they kind of chill. They might just come in for a minute, check it out, and go back outside where they're supposed to be. The Germans be all on your cereal box. It's a mess. But anyway, I digress. I don't want to get too gross. The point is that the $800 rent is not going to be a thing anymore. But even back then, with the rent being $800, if you're late at a certain point, you're paying $200 in late fees. Now, here's the question. If you're paying late fees because of the bank failing to post your money that you earned from your job when they're supposed to, according to your agreement at the ACH, if they fail to post your money in a timely fashion and they delay it a week or something crazy like that, check it out. Now you got late fees. You got all kind of stuff. You might have stuff turned off. And the question is, will they reimburse you? Will they reimburse you for your expenditures, for your late fees, for your things getting turned off and you got to go to a hotel and all kind of stuff? Okay, will they reimburse you? Now, if the answer is no, see, now we got an issue. And if the Fed is commenting on this, what is their role in it? Will the government step in to bail you out? And remember this. We bailed out the big banks in 2008, yes? Maybe I'm not remembering things correctly, but I think we bailed them out back then. We bailed out the automakers and the banks. Billions of dollars, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, etc. We bailed them out recently. And they did dumb things to get in a bad situation. Silicon Valley Bank, what's the name of it? Signature Bank, giving Mark Zuckerberg. Look, Signature Bank gave Mark Zuckerberg a 1% interest rate on a $6 million mortgage. Listen, Signature Bank gave Mark Zuckerberg, yes, that Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook billionaire, they gave him a 1% interest rate on a $6 million loan. And of course, they went belly up, and then we, the taxpayer, bailed them out. They're talking about it wasn't a bailout. Really? Listen, the FDIC limit is $250,000. That is the limit of FDIC insurance. So FDIC insurance, if you don't know, what it does is it guarantees your deposits up to $250,000. They were guaranteeing deposits of like $30-something million for some of these companies. That's a bailout. So if we bail them out with our tax money, are we going to get money back when they fail to post our money that we earn? I don't know. But you know what? Yes, 1%, Salt and Light, 1% interest rate. I lie to you not. I'm not making it up on everything. I put it on everything. But having said all that, we gave them so much money through the bailout. They were allowed to do dumb, ridiculous things like a 1% interest rate on a $6 million loan. Will they bail us out for their mistakes? But the answer, to spoiler alert, probably not. Probably not. But we got all kind of money to give Ukraine, Israel, Hamas. We got money to give everybody else except for the regular everyday person. And I think it was done on purpose. Whether it was the federales toying with us, whether it was the banks because they don't have the money. It could have been a cyber attack. It could have been anything. I'm not really buying the whole, it was a human error thing. I'm not really buying that too much. I'm not buying it at all. And you know what? I got a meme to show you guys right quick that kind of encapsulates what's happening with all this money. Everybody's getting all this money except for you and I. You and I get the debt while everyone else gets the money from our debt. All right. Hold on. Let me show you guys this meme right quick. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Check it out. So this right here is perfect. For you guys who cannot see it, if you're listening to the audio only, shout out to you. This is a graphic of the globe wearing a pair of pants and some hard bottom shoes. And he has his hands out getting money from the ATM of Uncle Sam. And the thought bubbles on the globe say, money for Israel, Ukraine, and Hamas, plus some money for the weekend. And you got money just coming out. And you got all kind of debt, everything. And Uncle Sam looks none too pleased. And you know what? They mentioned Israel, Ukraine, Hamas, a little something for the weekend. What they failed to mention was 10 for the big guy. You got to have 10 for the big guy. That's also very, very important. So I'm not a fan of this. Somebody said it right there. We have $33 trillion in debt, and it's not going down anytime soon. Can we even pay the interest? It's difficult. It is very, very difficult. But shout out to Ben Garrison for the clip. That's right on it. Now for the meme, for the cartoon, pardon me. That's what I was looking for. Now, speaking about 10 for the big guy and everything else, did you guys hear about Hunter in the op-ed talking about the GOP weaponized my addiction? Look, Hunter, nobody weaponized your addiction. We're just talking about some basic things like, I don't know, if you or I or any regular person in America, any regular American citizen, if you or I go smoke crack and buy a gun and lie on the background check, we're going to the penitentiary, big rocks, little rocks. If you or I tape ourselves on video, I'm talking about 4K. If we catch ourselves in 4K smoking crack while handling a firearm, that is a crime. We're going to jail. Now, somebody could say it shouldn't be a crime or it should be a crime. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, if I go to jail for a thing, then you should as well if you do the same thing. Let's have the law be abolished and none of us go to jail for it, or we all go to jail for it. It can't be, well, you can get out of jail free, but I can't. See, that's that banana republic, two-tier justice system. That's not how we should operate in this country. Either we all go to jail for the crime or none of us go to jail for the crime. Now, I'm going to read that op-ed a little bit. This op-ed was crazy. Hunter Biden wrote an op-ed about the GOP weaponizing his addiction to cocaine and alcohol and everything else. I mean, this guy's got some kind of nerve. And let's not forget the context. He's actually being charged with some federal crimes. It's like, my man, you're actually about to go to the penitentiary, potentially, if they don't just give you the Biden treatment. So let's focus on your sobriety, first of all. Second of all, focus on not dropping the soap in the penitentiary. But I don't want to get too graphic, so I'm going to digress. Let's check it out. It's not a very long op-ed. Hold on. And I hate this website. Every time I click on the background to try and just move the page, it does weird stuff. Okay. Let's keep on going. Hunter Biden, I fought to get sober. Political weaponization of my addiction hurts more than me. And then he says, my struggles and my mistakes have been fodder for a vile and sustained disinformation campaign against my father, President Joe Biden, and an all-out annihilation of my reputation. My man, you do not have a spotless record here. You're not the kind of guy that can walk into a room and the opinions of you are all formed by the GOP. Before the GOP said anything about you, you were discharged from the military for smoking crack. You did that on your own. So if you're talking about the GOP besmirching your reputation, tarnishing your name, I think the crack smoke tarnished you more than anything else. Let's keep on going. All right. So over 4 years ago, I chose life over the strangled death grip of addiction, which in my case consisted of each day a bottle of vodka and as many hits on the crack pipe as possible. I'm prouder of that choice and of my recovery than anything I've ever done. My experience is not a unique one. At least 20 million Americans today suffer from substance abuse disorder. My man, like, you smoke crack. It ain't that deep. It's not that deep. I don't know a family that hasn't been impacted in some way by addiction. What is distinct about my situation is that I'm the son of the president of the USA. Now, you know what? A lot of guys get hooked on drugs and they do things. And when they do things, they go to prison or jail or they face some kind of consequence. That's not been his case. If he was any other crackhead, he would have already been in prison. Okay? I know guys in my family, I know friends that have done stuff that then had issues with drugs, alcohol. And when they do things and we all know about it and there's evidence, they get locked up. That's what happens. But if you're President Joe Biden's son, nothing happens. My struggles and my mistakes have been fodder for a vile and sustained disinformation campaign against him and an all-out annihilation of my reputation through high-pitched but fruitless congressional investigations and, more recently, criminal charges for possessing an unloaded gun for 11 days. It don't matter how long you had it. Listen, if I do what you did, lying on the background check, having a gun, handling it while smoking crack, we go to prison. I can't go to the judge and say, hey, man, it was unloaded. It wasn't that long I had it. And when you threw it off, you threw it behind a dumpster at a school or something to relinquish your possession. You can't come on here and say I had it for 11 days and then you toss it off illegally. You can't do that. That's not how that works. But this guy, there's more to this right here, to the iPad. But this guy is trying to play the sympathy card with people. It's like, my man, that's not really how this whole thing works. All right. People are attacking you because the reason why you're not in prison is because you're Joe Biden's son. And of course, the biggest thing is Tim for the big guy. That laptop, let's not forget about that laptop. What was on it? It wasn't just the gun or the taxes. There was some alleged underage pictures of girls on there, and you were involved, allegedly. And then the emails, your business dealings, Burisma Holding, Tim for the big guy. That's the problem. But his stance is, I'm a victim. I'm a drug addict. And we all have a person like me in their family. Well, actually, no, we don't. Not all of us have a person that's politically connected who can just do whatever they want to do because of that connection. All right. But shout out to you, man. That's your guy. That's your guy, Hunter, the son of your president. I don't know how I didn't vote for him. There's some funny things going on with that particular thing. And that's a great segue into my next point about Bill Maher. Did you guys see Bill Maher talking about Donald Trump? Now, look, Bill Maher, that's right, SR-104, his niece, allegedly. Now, Bill Maher, sometimes Bill Maher says things that are okay. I'm not necessarily anti-Bill Maher. I have been before when he was a real stone cold stomp down leftist. And sometimes when I hear him talk on Joe Rogan, I forget he's a liberal. I forget sometimes. But then sometimes he will say a thing that reminds me, this guy's a stone cold liberal. He most certainly is. And this is one of them. Talking about Trump. Some people, the Trump derangement syndrome is real. It's really real. It's really crazy. And let's go ahead and just roll it to see what's going on.
If the guy doesn't concede elections...
Did Hillary concede elections?
Yeah, of course Hillary conceded.
She said he's an illegitimate president.
When did she say that?
She said that in 2016. She said he knows he is an illegitimate president.
I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president. He knows that there were a bunch of different reasons why the election turned out the way it did. And I take responsibility for those parts of it that I should. And so I know that he knows that this wasn't on the level.
So Hillary Clinton denied that Trump won. She says he's illegitimate. She says I won. Same thing that Stacey Abrams did. Maybe even Al Gore, people like that. These people deny the election and it's totally fine. And not only Hillary, not only Stacey Abrams, but also people that are on the left on their side also say the same thing. The whole thing with the Russia collusion, that was election denying. Oh, he didn't win. The Russians helped him. Oh, he didn't win. All this, that, and the third. They all said it. So look, either it's the same thing going on with Hunter. If he can avoid jail with a gun charge that we will all get locked up for, that's unfair. If he doesn't go to jail, then we shouldn't either. Same thing with Hillary. If she's able to deny the election or at least question it, investigate it, or whatever, then why can't I? Why can't we? Why can't Trump?
I don't know that we'll ever know everything that happened, but clearly we know a lot and are learning more every day, and history will probably sort it all out. So of course he's obsessed with me, and I believe that it's a guilty conscience in so much as he has a conscience.
After the election.
Yeah. Russia collusion, what was that if not denying the election? They made up a story, which was a hoax.
Well, it wasn't a hoax.
Yeah, it was.
Well, just what wasn't true? What part
the
of
Russia collusion? The idea that
there was collusion with Russia.
The idea
there
that
was absolute collusion with Russia.
Is that why he won the election? Do you think?
Partly. It was a very close election. Yeah, you don't think Russia could sway 77,000 votes in 3 states? Of course they could, and they did. Partly through social media, partly for their propaganda there and what they were trying to do there, which was very successful. Cost about $100,000.
Okay, let's pause for a minute. So Bill Maher is saying that the Russians colluded with the election, and he thinks they may have swayed about, let's say for math's sake, about 75,000 votes with 100 grand. Now, I'm no mathematician. I'm no real smart guy. You guys, if the math here is wrong, y'all please help me out. So for the low price of $1.25 per person, they were able to target these people specifically and have them change the election. Is that what he's saying? For $1.25 each person? Is that what he's saying? Now, I know I'm not necessarily a wizard on Facebook ads, but I know that it takes a little bit more to reach that many people and make them change their vote from one thing to the other. And I'm not quite sure you're able to really do that. And if, let's just say he's right, $1.25 per person, that's what it took from Russia. Okay. If that's true, then anybody could have done that. 100 grand. Anybody could have done that. You could have just got a donation from a college, or anybody could have done that. And then are we not going to count how the media was all in Hillary Clinton's corner? If 100 grand was the difference, then why wasn't the difference between Hillary's money and Trump's money a factor? Hillary had 1.3 billion. Trump had 700 million. So she had almost double his money, nearly double his money she had in her coffers. And the difference was much more than what he says they spent on those ads to change 75,000 votes. It doesn't make any sense. This is Trump derangement syndrome.
And then, Trump's campaign manager was trading campaign data with a GRU.
I think what Trump was saying is completely wrong. I agree. But
there was collusion.
But the Democrats also denied the election in 2016. They did.
Okay, maybe one time Hillary said something like that. You ask her today, this is not an issue for the Democrats. You're making a ridiculously false...
You think?
Comparison, of course.
Yeah, so shout out to Bill Maher. That's the Trigonometry podcast. Their faces were hilarious when he was talking. Hold on, let me see if I can go back. My man right here is just like, really? Is that what we're going to do? They were not feeling it at all. Neither was I. So a lot of these guys, these Bill Mahers of the world, these guys that want to come off as kind of being your, on your side, kind of allies, kind of conservative leaning now, they're not quite that way. Bill Maher is still very much so a leftist, and I think it's going to always be that way. Just sometimes he may be a little bit more crazy than other times, and that's just pretty much what that is. All right, let's keep on going. I found this video right here that came out just now. I've not seen it. I'm watching it with you guys. This may be a potential video that I may do. So this is from End Wokeness. Let's see. Hold on. I'm gonna watch it. I'm watching it with you guys. It says breaking racist sign found outside of Bellingham High School. The sign was removed and taken to the police station. Angry parents are calling it a hate crime, and some might even pull their kids from the school. Guess what the sign said? Let's check it out. And the account this came from originally was BIPOC doing racism. Let's see what it is here.
A racist sign was found near Bellingham High School, and frustrated parents want to know what's happening inside the school. WBZ's Christina Hager's live in Bellingham tonight. Christina, the school says hate has no place on its campus.
Elisa, the superintendent sent out an email this week saying he's deeply saddened and that the school staff works hard to create an environment where all students can feel like they belong. But some parents here say more needs to be done.
Stop white hate, said the sign near the entrance of Bellingham High School. Police say 2 residents removed it when they saw it Saturday and brought it here to the police department, concerned about the tone.
I don't know what led to it. I don't know why they put it up there. I don't know if it was a parent that's upset because of the way things are going.
That seems so random. Stop white hate. Like, where is that coming from? I don't understand. It's really weird.
Since the spot is removed from the high school building, police say there are no security cameras where someone had propped the sign up along the main road.
There are hate crimes, right? And they have hate crime rules in the school, so enforce them.
It has some parents concerned. Tiara Bacchus's daughter told her about it after the superintendent sent this email calling it deplorable.
So, okay, is it saying stop white hate as in stop hatred against whites or stop white people from hating? I'm confused. I need some context.
She like kind of said it like nonchalant, like it's okay. And we just kind of looked like, how is this okay? And how are you going to just send out an email and expect everything to be fine? Like it's heartbreaking.
She says it's not the first time her kids have experienced racial tension at school.
These boys had a rope and they kept on saying the N-word.
Okay, all right. See, you know what? How can I put this? Juicy Smouye, anytime I hear something like this, I think Juicy Smouye, racism, white people, a rope. I'm thinking you're going to bring out some Africans and they're going to start dancing. I'm just not really believing it. And you know what? She might be telling the truth. It might even be true, but it doesn't even matter. And that is why these people need to stop with the hate hoaxes. Juicy Smouye, the girl that saw their baby on the side of the road, all these people, they need to stop. All I can think about is them. And this could be real, but it's probably not. And I don't believe it.
And my daughter, she got up and she went to the guidance counselor.
Police say school resource officers never heard about that.
The nice part with having the SROs up there is we want the kids to go to them. They're visible.
This is Bellingham in Massachusetts, because I'm seeing the bottom left-hand corner, the bottom right-hand corner, it says CBS Washington, and I'm hearing this man with the Boston accent in the background. So this is Massachusetts, Bellingham, Massachusetts.
They're there all the time and they're visible.
Or somewhere nearby. This could be Rhode Island. I'm not really sure. Y'all let me know where this particular place is in New England, but it's most certainly over there by Boston.
So if they had a concern or have a concern, by all means, they should go talk to them.
Well, one of those parents tells us she's so upset she's now considering moving her students to a different school. Police are telling us there is no danger to students or the general public. In Bellingham, Christina Hager, WBZ News.
Yeah, so that's Bellingham, Mass. That's where this whole thing is. All right. So, yeah, shout out to whoever put that sign up there. I'm kind of confused. I need some more context. You know, sometimes, look, if you're going to put a sign out there, put a QR code at the end of the sign so that I could get more information, right? Maybe you have a website, then I could see where the context of the sign came from. Maybe you could tell me more about what's going on. If you have a nonprofit, 501c3, whatever it is, let's figure out what's really happening rather than just scrawling something so randomly with some spray paint in your backyard and then sticking it on the ground in front of a school. That's not going to do nothing for me. All it's going to do is create controversy for no reason. Like, give me some context. Or you could just say stop white hate, and then on the bottom of it, write, explain yourself. Send the news a letter. Do something, because I don't know what's going on. But yeah, anytime I hear about, I see a sign like that, I see they're talking about a rope and some white people put a rope on me, man, please. Whatever. Juicy Smouye is all I can think about. I'm not trying to hear it, but if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a preview of a video I'm gonna do tomorrow. I gotta do this video. I have to do this video because this is really crazy. Now hold on. I'm gonna show you guys a picture. And hold on. Matter of fact, give me 1 second. I'm gonna show you guys a picture, and I'm gonna ask a question. And it's okay if you have an answer that could be politically incorrect. All right. So I'm just getting you ready for it right now, because some may get offended, some may get triggered, but ultimately, when I tell you the story tomorrow, nobody's really going to be offended. All right. So check it out. This man right here, this is a man who was also trans on the weekends, I suppose. This guy was the mayor of Phoenix City, Alabama, which is right there by Columbus, Georgia, and also a pastor, of course. And he was outed as being the person on the right. And as a result of him being outed, he deleted himself. Now, this guy in his early 60s, I'm pretty sure he had a family, everything else. They're trying to say that the conservative website that put him out there, they're the reason why he did this. It's like, yo, my man, you think you Clark Kent, you could put on some glasses and hide who you really are? My man, I can see you. I recognize you, sir. That makeup and wig are making you no different. Talking about some, oh, I'm a trans curvy girl. You a fat old regular man. And you know what? I'm saying these kind of things. It may seem kind of harsh, but when you hear what this guy allegedly did before he deleted himself, you're not even going to really be offended. But here's the question. Are you fooled? Are you fooled by the disguise? Are you fooled by the disguise? Yay or nay? I ain't going to do a poll because I don't want to have no evidence for the federales to come look. But are you convinced? If you're convinced, put a 1 in the chat. If you're not convinced by the look, put a 2 in the chat. Okay, again, if you are convinced, if you're totally confused, like if you were to go to Save-A-Lot, if you were to go to Kroger and see this man in the aisle with his wig on and his muumuu, if you were to be convinced, wow, that's a whole different person, press 1. If you're not, then press 2. All right. But yeah, this guy is a scum of the earth, really, 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 really bad. And what I said on my Twitter is that my prediction about this guy, why he deleted himself when he was discovered to be a transformer, he probably had mental problems, which I'm pretty sure he did. And he probably also had some things on his phone that he shouldn't have, which is always the case with these. Look, you got all the markers. Listen, if you want to identify the predators in your neighborhood, okay, all the markers. You're cross-dressing, you're kind of chubby, you are a pastor. Now, I'm not saying all pastors do this, but if you're a pastor and you're cross-dressing, that right there, that's an obvious sign that if you go on his phone or on his computer, you're going to see a lot of stuff you shouldn't want, that you can't unsee. Put it to you that way. But yeah, I'm doing a video about him tomorrow. That's going to be coming out on Sunday. Matter of fact, when I'm done with my live, I might do it tonight and just stay up because I got an extra hour. Yeah. Look, Joe Brandon, I'm sure he had something on his phone that shouldn't have been there because what I've read on this guy, look, this guy was writing fan fiction. He was really bad. Really, really, really bad. That's probably the best way to put it. Just a bad person overall. Hey, I am profiling. That's right, NERN. I'm profiling. You're right. You're correct. I own that. Yes, indeed. And I'll tell you what, I'm usually right with people like this. And again, I'm not trying to say pastors do this kind of thing. Shout out to all the good pastors and good church people out there and good church homes out there. Shout out to you guys. But you have a combination of factors. When you have somebody that's on these websites trolling people, writing this nasty fan fiction, cross-dressing, transgender, and you want to say you a pastor, that right there, that's a big red flag. Big red flag. All right. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And if you're wondering what he did, well, what happened was he deleted himself when he was outed as being quote unquote transgender by a so-called conservative website. But there's probably a reason why he did that goes beyond the website outing him. He probably had some things on his phone that he shouldn't have, and he probably was mentally ill anyway. And I'm going to detail it. It's a whole big article we're going to read tomorrow. Matter of fact, hold on. I'm going to just tell you some things right now because I'm going to get into it deeper tomorrow. But watch this. I'm going to just read this headline. That'll be enough. I'm going to read this headline, and then I'm going to keep on moving. So watch this. This is from earlier. Matter of fact, this is from yesterday. It says, to say I was a stalker would be a bit of an understatement. This is a quote. Curvy transgender Smith Station Mayor Copeland wrote fiction about deleting real-life businesswoman and assuming her identity. Okay, so you already kind of know where we're going. If you're doing stuff like this, and then you're a pastor, and you dress like that, you know, again, when I was a kid, I couldn't really put two and two together for certain things. I'm wondering, I'm asking questions, but now at my age, I'm able to see things very clearly. It's like being Neo in the Matrix. You get in the pill, and now you can see the reality for what it is. Come on. Like, must I spell it out? Must I say what he had on his phone? Must I say what he had on his hard drive? It doesn't matter if the police come out and say that it was there or not. We just know it was there. All right. So again, he was a pastor, not a regular person. A pastor should be above any kind of nonsense like that, but obviously he wasn't. But we're going to keep on moving here. We got a few more things. Let me see. Oh, Eric Adams. Speaking about politicians and doing the wrong thing, all this and that and the third. Eric Adams. You going to the penitentiary, sir. Eric Adams, my man. Hold on. Now, what I learned about Eric Adams, obviously the mayor of New York City, the federales raided his top fundraiser's home, 25-year-old Brianna Suggs. Now, before I get to Eric Adams and the update about the Turkish government, all kind of stuff, which is what they're talking about, Before we get to that, I'm going to just show you something. Now, Eric Adams is not married, never been married, but he has one child. All right. He has one child. I'm going to show you Eric Adams' son, who is an adult. I'm not showing you a little baby or nothing. This guy's a full-grown adult. Like in his 20s, I think. I'm going to show you his son and also the son mother. And then I'm going to show you the young lady that was the top fundraiser in New York City. All right. Let me see if I can find it right quick. Yeah. Okay. So I have the mother, and now I'm gonna show you the fundraiser lady, the fundraiser young woman. Couple pictures of her, and I want you just to put two and two together. Now, remember, they raided the young lady's house. She is Eric Adams' top fundraiser at 25 years old. When Eric Adams was the president of the borough of Brooklyn, she was the intern at the borough of Brooklyn Center, wherever that was. So again, he's known her for a long time, since I think that was 2017. Now let's do a little bit of math. It's 2023 right now. 2017, that was what, 6 years ago? So she was 18, 19 as an intern while Eric Adams was working there. Eric Adams is 63 years old. Are we just seeing? Okay, so check this out. Here is Eric Adams and his son and the son's mother. Her name is, I forget her name. I don't want to say the wrong thing. But that's Eric Adams' baby mama, if you will, his son's mother. He has one child. That's the mother right there. All right? You follow me? So that's the one picture you got to see. Now remember how she looks, okay? That's the mom. All right? Now, that's Brianna Suggs. All right? That is the fundraiser right there. That is the woman who had her house raided by the federales. And of course, that's Eric Adams again. And there we are one more time with the young lady. That's her. All right? Now, if Eric Adams has a type of woman, then it's pretty clear. That's the fundraiser, child's mother. Now, they kind of, a little hefty, a little sturdy women. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It's all good. Love who you love, right? But remember, Eric Adams at one point was pretty big too. Eric Adams lost a lot of weight. So at one point, Eric Adams was like in that same ballpark as far as physical size. He was a bigger guy at one point. He lost a lot of weight. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find that picture right quick. So he may be looking kind of slim now, but at one point he was much bigger. Yeah, this is you're not going to believe it. Hold on, I'm gonna show you a picture here. I think he went vegan or something. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm thinking there might be something going on with that with the fundraiser lady that could be a problem for Eric Adams. So you see the difference. That's Eric Adams right there on the left when he was a borough of Brooklyn president. This was during the time where the young lady was an intern, and then he took her from being an intern over there to being his fundraiser in New York City when he became the mayor. Okay? So that's your man right there, looking about 70 pounds heavier, maybe. That's him. So I'm just putting it into context. Now, let's get to the news clip where they're talking about the allegations.
That report coming from the New York Times, which obtained the federal search warrant. The FBI allegedly looking into illegal foreign donations from the Turkish government. Adams has previously spoken about his close ties to Turkey, most recently at a flag-raising ceremony for the country just last week.
And tonight, the mayor briefly addressed these claims. Fox 5's Sharon Crowley joins us live in the studio. And Sharon, what did he have to say about the raid?
Well, Natasha and Steve, Mayor Adams speaking just before an event at Gracie Mansion tonight. He says he holds his campaign to the highest ethical standards. The surprise raid prompting the mayor to abruptly bail on a trip to D.C., where he was supposed to meet with White House officials to discuss the city's migrant crisis.
I owe my campaign to the highest ethical standards. Any inquiry that is done, we're going to fully participate and make sure that it's done correctly. I have not been contacted by anyone from any law enforcement agency, and that's why I came back from D.C. to be here, to be on the ground and look at this inquiry as it was made.
Now remember, I was showing those pictures because they raided the intern's house. The federales raided the intern's house, who's now Eric Adams' top fundraiser. Let's follow me here. Eric Adams at one point was the borough of Brooklyn president. Brianna Suggs was an intern with him when he was Borough Brooklyn president. She worked there in the same building. Now he becomes the mayor. She's a top fundraiser at 25 years old, raising $18.5 million in his 2020 campaign. She's raised $900,000 already for 2025. Okay. They raided her house.
Mayor Eric Adams says he will cooperate with any investigation into his campaign fundraising if he's asked to do so by law enforcement, which so far has not happened. His remarks coming just hours after federal agents raided the Crown Heights Brooklyn home of his top fundraiser, 25-year-old Brianna Suggs. Suggs seen here in a picture posted to her LinkedIn page. The surprise search prompting Mayor Adams to abruptly return from a planned trip to Washington, D.C. to talk with White House officials about New York City's migrant crisis. Katie Cherkasky is a former federal prosecutor.
We know that they at least had some sort of probable cause to believe that the person's home, which was raided, was implicated in a crime or several crimes.
The New York Times.
Now let's pause right here. They're saying the home that was raided, the person could have been involved with a crime or several crimes. How would she be involved with the Turkish government and all kind of stuff like that? How would she have access to that if he's not giving it to her? Are they traveling together? Now, the next question is, are they sleeping together? If they're doing something like that and the federalists come question her, she's going to fold. It's going to be a problem. If they were seen to be in a relationship, it's going to cause a problem for him. And I think what's happening, aside from that, is that he is questioning the migrant crisis. Because remember, he was on the way to D.C. to talk to Biden about the migrant crisis. He's been very vocal about the migrant crisis and the impacts of New York City. He's been complaining about it, not getting support from the federales. So then when he's going to the White House, they're raiding his girlfriend, his intern's house, the fundraiser's house, they're raiding her house, putting pressure on her. So now they're saying, hey, man, look, you asking all these questions, you trying to have the migrant stop? Listen, all right, check it out. It's what we're going to do. We're raiding your girlfriend's house. We're going to make her fold. She going to tell secrets. We have some dirt on you. We're going to go ahead and just make you you're going to be toast. You're going to be done. Or here's the deal. You could just back off of all this migrant talk and play ball. Now, is that a tinfoil hat conspiracy theory? Perhaps. But does it make sense? Perhaps.
Says it obtained a copy of the search warrant. The paper says it shows the FBI appears to be looking into whether the Adams campaign conspired with the Turkish government and a Brooklyn construction company to funnel money into the mayor's campaign coffers.
U.S. campaigns are not authorized to accept donations from foreign countries for their campaigns.
One of Suggs's neighbors recorded cell phone video showing an FBI agent taking a box out of her Brooklyn home. Suggs has worked for Adams since 2017, starting as a teenager when he was the Brooklyn borough president. When Adams ran for mayor, she served as a chief fundraiser and director of logistics, helping to organize events and soliciting money from donors. Well, this raid comes several months after the Manhattan DA indicted 6 people on charges that they diverted tens of thousands of dollars to the Adams campaign. Then in September, the former city buildings commissioner was charged for using his position to dole out favors, and that included access to the mayor. He has pled not guilty. Adams has tried to distance himself from both of these cases. Stephen.
So there you go. That's what's happening right now with your man, Eric Adams, in New York City. So what do you guys think? Do you think they're trying to put pressure on her to try to get to him? Because ultimately there's a different thing going on. You can be corrupt in politics all you want to, as long as you play ball. If you want to be corrupt and do certain things and might not necessarily be 100% adhering to the rules and the books, you could do that, but you got to do what they want you to do too. That's how the game goes. That's just how it is. That's politics. Far too often. Big cities, things of that nature, that's what happens. All right. And when you don't play along, when you don't play their game, they got 1,000,001 ways to get rid of you. 1,000,001 ways. And that could be what's happening right here. All right. So we're going to see how the whole thing goes. If she starts talking, it's a wrap, because if they're together and they got some kind of thing going on and they had some kind of clandestine affair, like not an affair, if they were kind of together on the low, she's going to know certain things. It's going to be a problem. So we'll see how it goes. Now, I wonder if Eric Adams, after all this, will be as vocal about the migrant crisis as will. Like, look at what he says and what he doesn't say after this. If he's still going to be vocal about the migrant crisis, then maybe they didn't really get to him. But if he's saying less about the migrant crisis, not complaining about what's going on, maybe not necessarily cutting the services from the city to pay for the migrants, then you already know what happened. All right. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That will help me out tremendously. All righty. Now, do I have more? I got like limited time here. Let me see. Anna Kasparian. I could play some of that. I'm gonna play a little bit of Anna Kasparian. Anna Kasparian, you know, a lot of these people, Anna Kasparian, you guys may know her from the Young Turks. Super leftist type person. These kind of people, how can I say? These kind of people will flee California because of what's happening, or maybe they won't flee, but they'll complain about it. But they don't realize that they are the reason why these things are going on. They are the reason why things are happening like this in California. They can't really put two and two together to get four. They don't get it. They don't get it. Let me see if I can find a specific clip just briefly, and we'll keep on moving. But they don't get it. They'll talk about, well, we got all these problems with the drugs in the streets, all this, that, and the third. But it's like, well, you want all the drugs to be legalized. You talking about all the theft and the crime. Well, you don't want people to go to prison.
Let's go to
for low-level offenses. So you don't understand the very things that you advocate for are the reason why California is the way it is right now.
Fine with legalizing these things as long.
Hold on, let me just get back a little bit.
Okay, it is the worst possible solution to the issue. Okay, no one is safe. Everyone's angry. And you see all sorts of terrible stuff happening right there in broad daylight in the middle of the street. Okay, they did the same thing with drugs. Okay, we're going to decriminalize. So what do you see in California? Bunch of people shooting up, okay, and smoking crack all over the place. I'm sorry, I'm not interested in seeing that. I don't think that we should be, dealing with that on the metro system. Why do taxpayers have to deal with that? So they don't want to do anything to regulate. Again, I am fine with legalizing these things as long as we regulate it.
See, there is the problem. I'm not going to play the entire clip. It's like an 18-minute clip, but there's a problem. Hey, I'm cool with legalizing these things, but regulate it. But Anna, how are you going to regulate a crackhead? How do you really do that? I don't really understand. You have to crack down on the drugs, because if you have a person that's high on drugs, they are not going to be regulated. They're not going to be in the right frame of mind. You act as if these crackheads on the street can just be in their homes after a hard day's work at the plant and then fill up their crack pipe with crack and smoke it. Even Hunter Biden, the son of the president, couldn't do a thing like that. This guy got guns everywhere. This guy's on video cameras, filming himself doing it, leaving laptops. They're not in the right frame of mind. So if a privileged person like Hunter Biden can't even smoke crack without acting the fool, imagine your regular normie out here with all kind of additives, and then you got the fentanyl and all the other random chemicals they're going to be out there doing. How are you going to regulate a crackhead? How are you going to regulate a fentanyl ferret? How? This is the mentality they bring with them to Austin, Texas, and make that be California 2.0. They don't understand. This is why the California virus spreads. She's right to say it's a problem, but she does not understand the solution. And that is the problem. You want things to be a certain way, but they're the other way in reality. So yeah, that's just pretty much what's happening. You cannot control the addicts. If you if you allow the drugs and you allow the drugs, you allow the drugs and whatever comes with it. Because you like, okay, you got this guy on fentanyl. Like, if you're providing the needles and basically enabling the behavior, you're going to get the behavior. You can't like, okay, you got Narcan. So when they OD and they're going to OD, when you got Narcan, they know that's their backup. So you hit them with the Narcan, they bet like it never happened. I got to find a video. This was a hilarious video. I got to find it. Y'all give me a minute. But in the meantime, if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. But yeah, the drugs are a problem all over the place. And the weed, that's also an issue because with the weed comes other drugs. And that can be your problem. The weed itself isn't really the issue. It's the other things that come with it. And that is a problem. That will be the issue. I gotta find this video. Y'all please hang with me because it was perfect. And for you guys, there it is. Here we go. I found it. All right. Hold on. So you guys who are EMS, fire, police, you're going to relate to this a lot. All right. You'll check it out. So shout out to Bernard Taylor on the Facebooks. If you can't see it, it's a skit and he's in the back of an ambulance, and he has a syringe, and then I'm gonna play it, then I'm gonna describe it.
What's happening? What's happening? Hey!
So basically, he gave him the Narcan. He was passed out, dead, like ain't nothing, like he about to just die. And as soon as that Narcan hit, like it ain't nothing happened. Nothing happened. That's what goes on. They're going to turn me up with the music. Yeah, so that's pretty much what goes on. They're right back at it. Boom. And they know, and you know what'll happen? Right when they come back from the Narcan, they're going to go right back to where they were, get some more fentanyl, and do it again. And be right back in the ambulance in 5 minutes. It happens like that. And they know they can do that because they got the backup. They're not really worried about it. They'll be all right. They go all the way to the brink of death and come back. For them, that's good. They like that.
What's happening? Hey, let's go!
So that's what goes on with the Narcan. So shout out to him. All right. Let's keep on going here. We got you gotta get to the calls. I ain't gonna play all this other stuff. And actually, now they get me on Facebook. They won't let me out. I hate these wall gardens. All right. Super chats on deck. Then we're gonna get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Triad says they get combative after that. I'm sure you do get combative. They're ready to fight you. Get me out of here. I'm ready to go back to the drugs. You know? And that is what you have in the drug-infested environment. Nonsense like that. All right. So shout out to Abu Bakr Al-Puff Daddy, who says, so the FBI arrests Brianna Suggs and Andrew Gillum, but Hunter and Joe Biden and Hillary and Bill have done the same, but not arrested. Does the community not see that the FBI and deep state are racist? Hey, man, that's they voted for him. That's their people. Thank you for your donation. Thank you to Tingle Bar for your donation or for being a member. It said, love you, ABL. Thank you for that. Apu says, TCU Texas Tech game. Possum got there. Got Possum story. I've not seen that. I'll check it out a little bit later. Hold on. TCU Texas. See, now I got to look it up. Possum got on the field. Okay, yeah, Wild Possum. I can play that right quick. Just a few seconds. Oh, look at the possum. Cute little possum. Hold on, I'm going to put it on the screen right quick.
Rodents of unusual size showing up in Lubbock. That just happened at the end of the first quarter. We had an opossum on the field about 15 yards.
You know, the possums, one thing about the possums, they're kind of like, they're harmless. and they do all this jazz with their mouth open, trying to like scare people, scare predators, but it's really just bluffing.
He was not happy about being escorted out of the stadium.
I'm glad that guy had that stick with the thing on. I didn't know that was at every event. That was impressive.
Oh yeah, big time.
So shout out to the possum at the game, chilling. Just he was just trying to get little seats. He was just trying to get a little bit of a better view. Yeah, they're very harmless. Absolutely. Shout out to the possum for being able to get on the field, for storming the field. All right, don't lock the possum up. Let's keep on going here. Thank you to Apple again, who says, you see Laura Logan documentary about Ray Epps. You think he's a Fed? I think he's a Fed because they gave him a slap on the wrist and they weren't going to charge him until the uproar from the right. And they gave him something to try and calm the uproar down. I think he's a Fed for sure. This guy was on video talking about go into the Capitol and they gave him a slap on the wrist. But people that didn't do anything like that are given very harsh sentences and having their lives turned upside down. Shout out to Papa Naya Shelley. I remember that one right there with the spider getting shot. Thank you to F Ranger Xbox, who says bug assault shoots salts as kill bugs. Shout out to that gun. I need one of those. Thank you to Lee, who says bank deposit issue is deliberate. In the words of David Icke, problem, reaction, solution. Government creates the problem. We react. Where's my money? Government solves the problem with central bank digital currency, CBDC. Thank you for your super chat. Thank you to Angel Rivera, who says, hey, ABL, cancel culture is the new lynching. Mob rule in disguise. Absolutely. 1,000%. Very good point. Thank you to Romer Dubost, who says, truly informative and entertaining, ABL. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Thank you to Bina for gifting 5 ABL memberships. I appreciate you for that. Thank you to Mazo036, who says, hey, ABL from Great Britain. Shout out to Great Britain, innit? Keep up the good work. Mucka, M-U-C-K-A, I'm not cussing, which means mate. Thank you to Kelly K, who says, I've got nothing to say, just chipping in. Thank you for that. Thank you to Monique Price for your super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you to Maurice Stark for your super chat as well. I appreciate you. All righty. Let's get to some calls here. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. There's also an email to call in through Skype in the description. You could be right here, bottom left-hand corner of the screen. If the email doesn't work right, don't blame me. It's not my fault. Blame the white man. All righty. Again, 434-658-1220. Let's get rocking and rolling. All righty. And shout out to you guys for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. 860, you're line. I'm speaking to.
Hey, ABL, it's F&A Ranger Xbox. How you doing, brother?
It's all good, man. What's going on?
I just got to remind everybody my pronouns are Your Majesty, Sire, and my favorite, my liege. But you have to be a friend or close family member to call me my liege because I'm kind of touchy about that.
Well,
hey, how you doing, brother?
Hey, it's all good.
Good shows lately. Good shows. I watch them all the time, every day. I don't think Eric Adams didn't quite expect that to happen to him.
Yeah, probably didn't.
When you don't play ball with the criminal cabal, you go down the hall.
Absolutely.
So he's going to find out the hard way. That's what being a Democrat gets you. Communism. Communism is corrupt, 100%. It boggles my mind that the American businessman thinks that he's actually going to make money from a people that will put lead as a filler in baby formula and give it to their own Chinese babies and they die. Now, granted, the government put him to death. It was a public execution, but still, that's what they do with everything. Lead in toys, lead in paint, lead in this, lead in that. They don't care. They don't care about Chinese people don't want made in China. What does that tell you?
Yeah. That's pretty telling.
But nothing against Israel, nothing against Hamas, but that's old world problems. I live in the new world. My forefathers came over here to get away from your bull calky. Keep it over there. I don't want it over here. That's why we left. That's the problem. You people keep following us because we don't deal with your emotions. We deal with intellect and we create stuff when we build civilizations. Then you idiots come and wreck it.
Right on.
It's just, history repeats itself over and over and over again. But, oh my God. Just when you didn't think it could get any worse, what happens? But can you see it now, ABL? Can you see it? Remember what I said about a year ago or a year and a half ago about China has committed unrestricted warfare. They bought our government. If after the past 3 years, if you don't understand that your government is actively trying to kill you, there's no hope for you.
Yeah.
That's all I got for you, ABL. Great show. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. And remember, freedom of speech, Wimkin.com. It's free speech, but you're not allowed to threaten people or talk about, anything like that. But other than that, the sky's the limit. Anyway, God bless and good night, ABL. Take care, America.
Thanks for the call.
Love
Appreciate
ya.
you. All right. Shouts to my man for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. Thank you guys for being here. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. 918, you're on the line. I'm speaking to.
Anything like that.
Hey, what's up, ABL? It's JB Scotchman, Oklahoma. How you doing, buddy?
It's all good, man. Can't complain.
Yep. Man, great show tonight. Oh, my God. So many things to talk about. But I made a little list, and I call it the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is one of my favorite movies, actually. But I'm going to start with the end. I'm going to start with the ugly.
All right.
Okay. BLM founder Patrice Cullors. Have you seen that?
Have I seen what now?
She's doing.
What was that?
You what?
Huh?
Yeah, Patrice Cullors, the founder of BLM. She's walking around naked, painting herself in gold paint.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. I don't even know what to say about it. It's crazy. I don't know. She's doing like a Hunter Biden thing, trying to be an artist or whatever. But anyway, then I'll go back to the bad. The bad is every day that Joe Biden and his entire administration has been in office. He is, not just him, but they are destroying America. And you know who my arch nemesis is? Alejandro Mayorkas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've never seen anyone that can lie so much like him. I mean, it's just, God. I mean, yeah, tar and feather with a cannon. Yeah. Tar and feather all of them and shoot them back to South America and Cuba. Yeah. All right, but the good. Oh, hey, I got some good news, though. the new RoboCop game came out this week on Steam for PC gamers. So if you're a fan of RoboCop, which I'm a huge fan of the original, yeah, the game is awesome. It is great. So that's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Right on, man. Well, I thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, man. All right, later, dude.
All right, now. All right. Shout out to my man for the call. Let's get to a few more here. Shout out to you guys for being here. You guys enjoyed the number to call, 434-658-1220. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. Let's go to 215 to the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, how's it going?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Sorry, I had to turn the stream down because, I had to turn the stream down. I wanted it to be a delay, but anyway, I'm not going to waste time. So, ABL, one thing I wanted to say to you, I was at my job the other day, and I had people that constantly bring up like Trump and all this other stuff. I was like, I have people that constantly bring up Trump. As long as Trump is out of office, that's all that matters. I had one guy told me, well, Joe Biden passed way more bills and more policies than Trump ever could. I said, does it benefit the American people? He said, well, it doesn't matter because he has a lot more policies passed than Trump ever could. But he didn't want to answer the question, does it benefit American people? Does it benefit us?
Right, exactly. That's the whole point behind being in politics. Are you benefiting us? That's the thing.
And what was I going to say? Oh yeah, did you hear about? I wanted to ask you something. Did you hear? I don't know if that was you that said this, but they said middle class hardworking people, that most of them are usually like blue pilled people. Was that you that said that?
It probably wasn't me, but I agree with that statement.
Yeah, matter of fact, it was somebody else that said it then. Yeah, because I remember somebody saying that the middle class, hardworking people are usually the most blue-pilled people out there because most of the time they spend most of their time working and taking care of business, and if they have kids, and it's like they don't really have much time to do research, look into things like. And I kind of agree with that because it's like most poor people, because I've been poor most of my life. I'm like living paycheck to paycheck. And I've been in the shelters, talking to people on the streets, talking to people that's in shelters and all that stuff. A lot of them, they like Donald Trump. They liked it better when Trump was in office. And this is coming from a lot of poor people.
Oh, yeah, because even if they may not necessarily be a fan of what they see on the news that they try to say about Trump, but they understand what their life was like. They know how it was for them on an everyday basis under Trump versus what it is right now under Biden. And if they're honest people, they're going to say it was better under Trump. It's just a matter of fact.
Yeah. And you got some that's like, they're really triggered by Trump. They said they need to lock that you-know-what up. They need to lock him up. I will never admit that Trump was right. Even if they know that Joe Biden is just dead wrong, but just like, they don't want to admit that, okay, Trump was right. I'm not saying anybody has to be best friends with Trump. You don't have to like him, but it's all about right and wrong, and pretty much right and wrong.
Right, absolutely.
And this whole prosecuting Trump thing, what they're doing just because he denied the election, I said, it triggers me a little bit because Hillary Clinton did the exact same thing. And I remember that she denied it for at least, it was like a year and some change.
Yeah,
but
it
wasn't what Bill Maher tried to lie and say, oh, she never denied it. No, there was a whole video compilation of her denying the election and saying Trump was illegitimate. Her supporters were saying the exact same things. Celebrities were saying it. So I'm not trying to hear that. When people try to tell me, I'm not trying to hear none of it because I go by what I see with my own 2 eyes and ears.
Absolutely.
You know, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, but one more thing, like me and my girlfriend years ago, we used to be like regular normie type of people. We weren't too tuned into politics and all that stuff, but we were always open-minded people. and we never always believe the hype of the mainstream media because we always go by this rule: if something sounds way too juicy, that's when you got to question it. You're like, wait a minute, this sounds a little too good to be true. Then you got to question it.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, then that's what we did. And then when Trump and Hillary Clinton was going at it in 2016, we weren't on either side. We wanted to see a female president, but then when we found out she lost and Trump won, we heard that we heard all the rumors. Trump was racist. He was prejudiced. He don't like black people. We were like, I remember thinking to myself, I don't think a country would be that stupid to elect an actual racist person that they know is racist. And I know for a fact that all white people are not racist. That's what I was thinking to myself at the time. So it was kind of hard to get this whole Trump was racist thing past me back in 2016. And mind you, back in 2016, I didn't know what a Democrat was. I was like, what's a Democrat? What's a Republican? Mm-hmm. That's how out of touch with politics I was.
Right.
But even I didn't believe the whole Trump racist thing. I was like, nah. Sounds a little too juicy there. But thanks for taking my call, ABL.
Thanks for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. You have a good night.
Same to you. Great call. And for you guys who didn't understand what he was talking about as far as being blue pill, that means basically being a normie, not really knowing what's going on, believing whatever the media tells you. You know, that's what a blue pill. Because the average person does not really have time to look into all this stuff that I look into every day. They don't have the time. They got kids and bills and life. They don't have time for that kind of stuff. You know, so that's just what it is. Whatever the media tells them, they take it because that's all they have time to do is take it. All right. 909, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Steven.
All right, man. What's going on?
Oh, just hanging out down here in Groveland, Florida for the winter.
All right. Sounds good. Nice and warm down there?
Yeah, it's a balmy 70, 75.
Ah, perfect.
Just trying to play golf. Hey, ABL, something I've been noticing in going through my news feed things and something I've kind of picked up on the last few years. It seems like, and maybe you can tell me if it's my imagination, but it seems like black people, especially black women, are real sensitive.
About what specifically? Just anything?
Yeah, I mean, well, like I've watched some police videos, you know, that come up on YouTube, which I don't know how they get there, but they come up on my feed. You know, about especially women getting pulled over by the cops.
Mm-hmm.
And they run away, and then when the cops finally pit maneuver them or pull them over, they say, we were afraid. I was afraid you were going to kill me. You know, and I just can't help but think, you know, are they that way, or is it the media propaganda that is making them think that way? Because, you know, if I see a cop trying to pull me over, I'm just going to pull over, you know, I'm not going to try and evade. But I've also seen some black men, fewer black men, but they, and I can think of one specifically, but I'm not going to name names, that they seem real sensitive when confronted, when questioned.
Give me an example.
Really? You want me to?
Why not?
All right. Eric July.
Oh, okay. So now Eric July, for you guys who don't know, and I like him, by the way. I'm a fan of his. I like him.
And so do I. Yeah.
Yeah. So Eric July has been going through some issues with his comic book company. He's been facing some lawsuits and a lot of things I think that are really unfair. But what was your specific issue?
My specific issue was that he got confronted about his alleged inappropriations, misappropriations, whatever. Yeah.
What was it? What was the confrontation about? Like, what happened?
Well, my introduction to it was through Nick Rekieta, and one of it was a guy. It was a guy that Nick pointed out. I don't want to say that it was associated with Nick. That to be clear, I don't feel that the confrontation was appropriate. Some guy went on to Eric's property, business property, and left, some innocuous note, and that led Eric to go off, but it led into a whole. Eric was obviously triggered, and it led into a whole, semi-legal, illegal conversation. But Eric was audibly and visibly triggered by it.
Okay, let's pause for a second. Let's pause for a second. So somebody came to his property. Does he know the person?
Somebody, what? Say that again.
Is a person someone that he knows? Is it a stranger that came to his property, or does he know the person?
Yeah, a stranger to Eric. Yes.
So, how did the person know where he lived? He found his address on the internet or something? Was he stalking them? Like, because I've had it happen before where somebody comes to my house. I don't play that kind of stuff. So, if you come to my house and I don't know you and I didn't invite you and you leaving notes, I'll be a little bit irritated, and I might want to, that might be a problem. And if it's me and I see you and you in a certain part of my property, it can get really bad.
Right.
So I will understand. I will understand.
Like
Hold on, wait, caller. I will understand why he would be in a heightened level of irritability if something like that happens. Wouldn't you understand that?
Yes, and like I say, I agree with that. The thing that Eric was on about was Eric kept repeating the same statement that Eric felt like the person was trying to ruin his business.
Okay. I don't understand. It's like you're saying that you're calling me talking about black folks being sensitive, but you're telling me about a total stranger going to somebody's property and leaving notes. I don't. And you said it yourself that if somebody did that to you, you would be in a heightened level of irritability. Anybody would. You come to my house, like I've said that on my channel. Don't come to my house. That's like my one rule. You can say whatever you want to me on the internet. You come to my house, but you could die like that. I don't play that kind of game. I've been swatted before. Do you know what that is? Being swatted?
No.
Now, being swatted is when somebody calls the police on you because they have your address and know where you live. They call the police on you, and then they say, "Oh, ABL got a 13-year-old tied up in the basement and bleeding. He done shot somebody. Go over there." So then sometimes a SWAT team comes to your house and kicks your door down. One person got killed like that. Pardon me, deleted. I know YouTube is listening. So I don't play around with stuff like that. He was right to be upset. So that was a bad example. But thank you for your call, man. I appreciate you. All right, shout out to the caller. I mean, come on, man. Like, you come to my house? Nah. I don't, like, maybe the whole thing was maybe he was going on too much about the situation, but I understand. You come to my house and leaving notes? Man, please. Man, me being upset is the least of your concerns. If you're the person that did that, I'm not saying it's the guy that called me, but the person who did that shouldn't be worried about me being upset and going on a rant. I mean, I got Smith, Wesson, and some more friends in the back, allegedly, back in the day when I had them. That should be your primary concern. Let's keep on rocking. 504 online, who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, it's Alien Spaceship.
All right, man, what's going on?
All right, a good show tonight, and also very good topics. Yeah, I think with the bank situation with the deposits, I think that is very suspicious, and there's probably more things going on with that they may not be telling us.
Yeah, definitely. It's very suspicious to happen on all days of Friday and near the first of the month. I think it's very suspicious. I think it could have been a cyber attack, or it could have been somebody doing something to try and protect bank deposits.
Right, exactly. And also, another thing that's a problem is that the climate with the country in general, how everything is, with the wars that are going on in the different parts of the world, and a lot of the corruption, with the inflation, and that on top of that, it's like in an instant, they can just pull the plug on everybody and cause more destabilization.
Absolutely. 100% correct.
Yeah. And another thing I've noticed that the inflation crisis has gone up more, and it looks like people are getting more frustrated with the country going back, kind of getting back to how it was before when it's getting involved in foreign conflicts.
Yeah, exactly. It was almost immediate. And that's part of the reason why I voted for Trump twice, is because he was a guy that was against that. And when he was in power, we didn't have all this stuff going on. Now, all of a sudden, we have Israel, Hamas, and we have South China Sea, Taiwan, and we got Ukraine and Russia. We got all kind of stuff happening, and it doesn't seem to be dying down. It's like things are ramping up.
Exactly. And also, because I know like America had, an agreement with Israel from a very long time ago. And also the thing with Ukraine, America had no agreement with Ukraine about anything. It has nothing to do with us. And it's very strange that we're supporting that conflict. I don't really know the real reason behind that, and that's very suspicious.
Absolutely. Very suspicious.
Yeah. And I liked the meme you showed. It's like America's like an ATM, but it's kind of neglecting its own people.
Yeah, and that's not a good thing at all. That's definitely no bueno for sure.
Right. And also, I was doing some research on the border, and there's a lot of there's like a war going on down there, and there's a lot of bombs and stuff going on, being discovered. And I am concerned about what they let in all this time, because we don't know who came in, and there could be more violence and problems, because the people that would want to do like terrorism, they're probably all over the place.
Oh yeah, I mean, and they're going to be spread out. They're going to be, and they could be spread out and organized. So then, if they need to get activated, they can just get a call, and then all of a sudden you have attacks all over the nation, not just in one place.
Right, and also like with Antifa and BLM during the riots, they were all over the country, including New Orleans, but the New Orleans police did an excellent job at blocking them from coming into the city, and there are people from all over the place that were protesting, in the middle of the night, protesting on a bridge. It doesn't look too good. And yeah, so like that happened, and they saw how they could do that, and then they may want to do something like that again. So I do, as I said, it's a concerning situation, because you'd see these blocks and blocks being burned down, and CNN said a mostly peaceful protest. It was like the middle of the night and everything's burning down.
Right. It's crazy. It's crazy how that happened.
Yeah. And I think I can compare, I supported Trump as well. And I think that if you look how it was when he was there and it now, it's like night and day. It's like the Twilight Zone, and there's so many people like Taiwan and China, that hasn't kicked off yet, but that could be a thing that's happening. And all these different countries and groups are all like attacking each other all over the place, and it's all falling apart. And the media, with its propaganda, influencing people to think that Trump is racist, and that's a key word that triggers people for some reason. Like, they're not going to look at the policy. So I think that it's totally different from how it was when Trump was in there.
Much different, night and day.
Yeah, exactly. And also something I remember about spiders. One time, one of my friends gave me a bunch of bananas from the banana tree. And then later on, I think this could have had to do with it. There was a bunch of these different spiders that were in the back room. And just in Louisiana in general, there's a lot of spiders. So, yeah, I've seen some interesting spiders in my time.
Oh, yeah. And, I've seen quite a few out here in Tennessee. I saw a black widow on my garage door when I was going outside. Wow. It was right in front of my face. So, yeah, I definitely don't want to touch stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. And also after Hurricane Katrina, the black widow spiders are all over. They came all over the place because the place was abandoned for a couple of weeks. And then, you'll see, sometimes you'll look under things and you'll see their eggs. There's like this white circle with some like little spikes on it, and they have the hourglass in their belly. Yeah, so we have those around here. And remember, in Mississippi, there is these humongous spiders. I don't know what they're called, but yeah, they have a lot of eyes. They're almost like aliens.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And also, thank you for taking my call, ABL. That's all I have to say.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay, bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. My man, Alien Spaceship. Scott caller, you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, hi, ABL. Danny, how's it going, mate?
It's all good, man. How about yourself?
Yeah, everything's good, man. Thanks for taking my call. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah, so I just want to talk about that weasel Bill Maher, if that's all right.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, see, again, I've seen him do like every time I see him on a podcast now. He pretty much just repeats the same thing, and I've noticed this quite a lot now with these sort of liberals. With Anna Kasparian and just other people now, and they go on podcasts and they sort of talk about the last few years of Biden's presidency and just the awful job he's doing and how poorly the country's doing, and they kind of like hesitantly admit it, and they're like, and then the last thing they always say is it always goes back to Trump, and but it's not as bad as Trump, right? Because he's a threat to our democracy, and do you remember January 6th and the insurrection? They just can't help themselves but say that. Do you notice that?
Yeah, people like that. That goes back to like the normies, the blue pill people. They have no idea what's going on. So whatever the media tells them to think, they'll think it. And when you try to question them on it, they're going to go back to whatever they heard on television because they don't really know anything about it other than what they saw on TV.
Yeah, because I don't know what it is though with these people though, ABL. It's like because Bill Maher and Anna Kasparian, they're not exactly normies, are they? They're in the sort of the world of politics, and that's their job, right? But yet for some reason they come across as just ignorant, everyday normies. Like they can't get over January 6th and this so-called insurrection. They just can't get over it. It's the only thing that I guess that they think they have to bring up in a debate or an argument is like, oh, gotcha. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what Biden's been doing. It's like I don't know if it has been brought up though by people in debates, but I've never heard someone say, well, where, all the protesters on that day, all the sort of Trump supporters on the January 6th, did any of them have guns on them? Did they march into the Capitol with all guns on them or not?
No, of course not. Nobody had any guns. Nobody got shot except for the young lady. I forget her name. I know I'm terrible for forgetting her name, but the Trump supporter got shot by the police officer.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so no, like if they actually, because again, I don't know if they understand, if they know the actual definition of an insurrection, a coup, if they actually know what exactly that is, or if they're getting that mixed up with just a protest that went a bit overboard, I guess, because there have been insurrections and coups that happen in the world, right? And like normally, I don't know if it's one side of the military turns up with like tanks, soldiers, and they pretty much kill people in government, don't they?
Yeah, like real actual insurrections that actually there's bloodshed, there's violence. It's not as simple as, okay, it's a riot. That's not an insurrection. People could talk about the intention, but a real insurrection, you're talking about real bloodshed, like Tiananmen Square type situation, which wasn't even an insurrection. It was just a protest, and the military took it to that level. But something like that would be the level of violence you would have in an insurrection, taking over like taking over a regime, assassinating the president, that type of thing.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's why I feel like these people. I think you're right. I think they're playing dumb. I really think they know what they're saying is bullcrap. Pardon my French, but I think they just feel that they just have to say it, don't they? They just can't help themselves. That's their only sort of go-to because they're pretty much losing the debate now with all the topics. I don't know why they just can't admit that pretty much all these liberal policies just don't work. I mean, there's proof in the pudding now that they've pretty much been seeing it for the last few years.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I've got to say for that. But can I quickly just mention the Hunter Biden thing?
Go for it.
Yeah, so he again, to me, he's just a typical sport brat who is just you know what I mean, just living off daddy's money, and again, just goes around town, you know, doing drugs, sleeps with prostitutes, and thinks thinks he's untouchable pretty much. You know what I mean, he comes from a powerful family and thinks he can do whatever he wants and suffer no consequences, and that's pretty much what's happening. I mean, what more evidence do you need to sort of convict this man? Or like, I mean, the laptop and all the evidence has come out, and he's pretty much not going to spend one day in jail. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, I mean, all the evidence is there, but it's just a matter of, okay, are we going to do anything? Are we not going to do anything? That's the question. And I think that the people in charge, the powers that be, don't really want to do anything because of who he is.
Yeah, and we all know if this was Trump Jr. or whoever, like people like my mum and people in my family who don't even like really follow politics, that they would know about it. They would be like, you know what I mean? Just your normal average day normies who don't even follow politics would probably know about this whole, you know, if it was Trump Jr.'s laptop and, oh, did you know about this? Do you know about that? Like, they would all know about it, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, you know that what was it? That thing, that animal that went onto the field, what was it? A raccoon, was it? Or
it was a possum.
Yeah, how much you want to bet that possum would probably get more? Is probably going to get more jail time than Hunter Biden.
You're 100% correct.
All right, man. Well, yeah, thanks again for taking my call, ABL. Great show, and shout out to the chat, and also shout out to Bina for gifting me a membership. I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate you.
All right, take care. See ya. Bye.
All right, great call. Shout out to my man Danny from the UK for that call. Let's keep on rocking here. 646 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Bobby.
Say what now?
Yeah, my name's Bobby. I was trying to talk to ABL.
All right, before we do anything, let's turn the stream off in the background for me, please.
Yes, sir.
All righty, so you're on the line right now. What's happening?
Yes, hello ABL. I'm Bobby. I'm from New York City, and it's my first time ever talking to you. And I just want to let you know I'm a fan. I've been watching for 3 years.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to talk to you. I was watching your video about the guy, the girls who made the list about where not to go, and I was just thinking, you know, maybe they should give some point out maybe details where they would like to go, like on the first date. I was just thinking about that. What do you think about that, Mr. ABL?
That's a really good point, but that's not how women are typically. What they're gonna do, like if you ask a woman, "Hey, where you want to go?" What's she gonna say? I don't know. That's what they're gonna do. But what's gonna happen is they're gonna tell you what they don't want. They're gonna tell you what they don't like, and it's your job to read between the lines and take what they say and then just, okay, if she don't want to go here, then where does she want to go and why? And listen, so I already know. I don't go anywhere on that list. I got some places that's nice and intimate and romantic I can take her. It's not going to cost a lot of money. That'll cost the same as Applebee's or something like that. But it's not those places. I'm not taking her to a family-friendly restaurant with kids and grandmas and everybody. It's going to be more of an adult environment where you got people that are our age, having dates and that type of situation. One-on-one, not real loud, dimly lit, not expensive. That's where you want to go. That's what they want to say, but they don't want to say it because they don't really understand how to articulate it. It's your job to figure it out. And if you're able to figure it out, you get good points. That's how it works.
No, okay. I thank you, Ms. ABL, and I agree with what you say. I agree. And some of those things on those lists, you know, I there was places I've never heard of because I didn't know what Cheesecake Factory, Buffalo Wild Wings, or I didn't know what that was until about 4 years ago.
Oh wow!
And I'm from New York City. You know, there's certain things they don't have out here, and and also there was and I understand, like, you know, I would never, I'll be honest with you, Mr. ABL. I never had my first relationship because I was getting put down a lot, and I've been watching things on the internet. I always follow things, watch things on the internet. I'm watching you or whoever, and and I said, I would never take a woman to a fast food joint or Applebee's, like you said, your house or the movies. And I'm with you on that 100%. I agree with you, and yeah, but yeah, I just wanted to say, yeah, I agree with you on that, and I don't know if you know, did you see that there were men on the internet? They made a response to that list also. Did you know about that?
I didn't hear that last part. You said what now?
There was some men that had made a response to the list that those girls made about where they would not ever go. They made a response to that.
Oh, you mean that they made their own list in response to that list? I saw that, yeah.
Oh, okay. I just thought maybe you didn't see it, but anyway, but also I was watching the I remember when I was growing up in school, girls in my class, they would do a lot for their boyfriends. Like I had one classmate, she would buy her boyfriend all type of stuff, sneakers, I don't know if you ever wear those fitted hats? Those fitted hats they wore, in the 2000s.
Yeah, of course. I was wearing those back then.
Yeah, I wore that. Yeah. So yeah, she would buy them that, and then video games or whatever, and then for response to that, they would fight, argue, and then she would cause them to cry, and then she would cause her to act out in class, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
And then another girl in my school, when I graduated, it was right after I graduated, she was, doing what she wanted to do, and then she got pregnant right after I graduated. It was some girl that I liked. I said, wow. I was just like, wow, this is crazy. And then,
it's crazy.
Also,
I'm gonna cut you off, but I got limited time. I got to get to a few more calls, man. So thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you. It's all good, man. Thank you for your call. I appreciate you.
Thanks. I'll call you back some other time. Thank you, Mr. ABL.
Right on, man. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Shout out to the caller. But yeah, I mean, that video I made, people kind of get offended, but what I'm saying is correct. What I'm saying is absolutely correct. And if people listen to what I say, they will have a better experience going on a date. You don't want to take no girl to no coffee place. Like coffee places, that's where I would go when I would have clients when I was a graphic designer. Because you guys may or may not know, before I started doing YouTube, I was a graphic designer for about 10 years, from 07 to 17. So when I was first doing my videos, I still had clients, and sometimes they wanted to meet, and we would not go to an expensive place. We would go to our place was Panera Bread. That's where we would go. Maybe we get a coffee or a tea or something like that and talk, but we're not trying to build romantic interest. We're just talking about some business. And really, one of my best clients I ever had, I never met because they were over in Africa. Like a legitimate client, I had I had 3 Angolan consulates. So I had them, their main place in Angola, and then they had a consulate in Houston, and it might have been somewhere else. It might have been in DC. So they had a consulate in DC, Houston, and then back in Africa, and I would do some design work for them. So people would come there and they would get certain things done. But regardless of what, we would just talk on the phone and we would do email. That's how we communicated. And if you're dealing with a young lady, you got FaceTime. You could just talk to her on FaceTime. You can see her. You can see what's going on. Ain't no sense in a coffee date. That's kind of unnecessary, in my opinion. Dinner date without spending a bunch of money. Some guys saw that list and say, oh, we got to spend a bunch of money. No, you just got to think and be more resourceful and be creative if you live in a place where that's possible. If you're living in a small town with not many options, then you can't really do too much. If you're young, you're like 18, 19, college, high school, you can't do too much. And if you're married, got kids already, then y'all can do whatever you want. You can have any kind of experience you want because you're not trying to build the initial romantic interest. But I digress. All right. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Yeah, I don't like coffee dates because I can just talk to you on FaceTime. I'm thinking about saving money. Time is more important than me. Money is not even the issue necessarily because I ain't going to spend a bunch of money regardless. It don't even matter, the time. Why spend that much time getting ready to go to the place, getting dressed, finding parking, where I could just talk to you on FaceTime for the same amount of time I talk to you in the coffee shop? When it's time to build the romantic interest, let's go now. We didn't already talk before. We didn't text. We communicated. I know you a little bit. Now let's go to the dinner date and move it along that way. You know, a nice dinner. It don't gotta be nothing expensive. I don't even like going to Cheesecake Factory because that's expensive to me, in my opinion. But let's keep on going. 918, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, ABL. I'm sorry. I'm hearing an echo. Do I need to move away from my tablet?
You can just turn the stream down or off in the background. That'd be fine.
Okay, I moved out of the room. Okay, I've been a long-time listener. I'm a first-time caller. Respect and love everything you do. You're the voice of reason in these weird, dark, bizarre times that we're in. Tonight, I'm sorry, I haven't really been in the stream a lot. I've been in and out of my house. My husband and I were actually outside talking to a neighbor, and he informed us that our new neighbor that moved into the cul-de-sac next to us, she went around trying to petition to have American flags and Trump flags and anything removed unless there's a BLM flag next to it. So I'm a little upset, right? I'm a little upset to hear that. So it's kind of disheartening that, you know, you live in rural Oklahoma, you're in a quiet area, then you you have a new neighbor that moves in and she's trying to evoke all of these bylaws and rules. And I guess apparently a neighbor told her, I don't know where you thought you were like moving to, but you can't tell people what to do. And so she's been going around trying to petition. And so I just found this out and I'm so upset that I decided to call you about it because I mean, this is something that we talk about a lot, you know, having our rights basically, you know, trampled on and people telling us what we can and can't say. And it's odd that there's one person in the neighborhood that thinks she can evoke all these bylaws and rules. So yeah, I'm actually really upset about this. So I've been in and out of your stream tonight. And I was like, you know, I think I'm going to finally call. I think this is what I'm going to call about because this is just, I just absolutely cannot believe it. So I talked to other neighbors and they confirmed. They said, oh yeah, she came over here. She tried that with us and she didn't try it with me because she knows better. But yeah, so I don't know what to do about that. I don't know if I should contact the HOA and say, hey, look, you know, there's somebody around here harassing people or if, you know, I don't know, but it's just crazy times we're living in when one person thinks they can move to a whole entire state and town and area and neighborhood and think that they can tell everybody what they can and can't do. Kind of creepy. You know what I mean?
Okay. So I got a few questions now.
Sure.
There is an HOA. Are you in a subdivision with close houses? Like you have your neighbors like 5 feet away. Like how far are the houses apart?
They are, they're estates, so they're pretty big properties.
Okay.
She happens to be a few feet from me, kind of, I would say like at a slant. So she and I are really close, and then all the other neighbors are kind of spread out. So I got very lucky with her because she's right there, and she, you know, she tried to come over. She when she introduced herself, she actually came over and she had a hoodie on, and she pulled her undershirt down, and she introduced her daughter by having my daughter read her shirt out loud, and it said, vote as if your skin isn't white and vote as if your daughter is not transgender or transgender.
Oh boy.
And that's when I told, yeah, that's when I told my daughter, go in the house. And then she looked at me and said, hi, I'm your new psycho liberal neighbor. Nice
wait a minute.
to meet you.
Wait. Did she actually say those words to you? I'm your psycho liberal neighbor.
Yes. She said, and then she keeps using terms like that S and, you know, when she had my son alone, she tried to ask him if he was vaccinated. And it's this is just a new world to me because, you know, we keep to ourselves. I have bad social anxiety. So it's like, I'm really nervous to call because I'm a very private person, but this is just, you know, and so when she came over here and stepped on my property on my porch and had my daughter read her shirt and stuff like that, I was just like, I was actually stunned. And normally I would speak up for myself, but I was so stunned my mouth was, on the bottom of the porch. I was just like, is this lady serious? And I was shocked that somebody like her would move to an area like this, because this is very staunch, very, very staunch Republican. It's a very, very red area. And, I just started noticing her kind of trespassing and doing weird things. And so to find that she tried to petition to have us not be able to fly flags, I don't know where it's going.
So
it's kind of creeping me out.
So here's another question. So who was she trying to petition? Just the neighbors to come together and vote on this? Like, how was she trying to get this whole thing done? Okay, so now the thing about it is, since you live where you live, I'm pretty sure you're going to have neighbors be on your side. So I don't think she'll get anywhere. You spoke to the neighbors already, and they said, well, she came over here trying to do that nonsense, so she won't get anywhere. You have an HOA. She won't get anywhere with the HOA. You guys probably already have people on the board of the HOA that live in the neighborhood, so they're going to block that from happening. What you have is just an annoying neighbor that won't really be able to get anything accomplished because your subdivision is not going to be on board, ultimately. She's a nuisance, essentially. That's what's going on. But ultimately, she will be unsuccessful in her goal to try and get BLM flags and all that kind of rules like that accomplished. It ain't going to happen.
Right. That makes me feel better about it. And I'm glad that it would be different if I was kind of in a place like Portland and I was alone on a street where I had my own beliefs, you know what I mean? But it's just funny too, because she kind of morphed into Anderson Cooper. Like, she had longer hair. Now she's got the Anderson Cooper, Jamie Lee Curtis, like with the glasses, like all the aging libs, like, morph into through the years. So it's funny. But anyway, I just wanted to say, while I have the opportunity, I just want to say thanks for, being a voice of reason and having a spine. I've noticed this past week, a lot of people that I followed have kind of backpedaled. And I don't know if something was implemented on YouTube, but it kind of seems like that. And I just appreciate that you weren't one of them. So thank you so much for all you do. And you're in my kitchen every Wednesday and Saturday night while I do the mom stuff, the wife stuff. So thank you so much for all you do, ABL.
Thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. Great call. Amazing call. So, yeah. And I was reading the comment, and it was a very good comment. Do not let that woman get on the HOA board, whatever you do. Don't let her do it. That's going to be the super Karen from outer space. She's going to be the biggest Karen in the universe if she gets that power. So don't let her do it. All right. Keep her over there. If she wants to act a fool and dress like Anderson Cooper and Jamie Lee Curtis and all these people, then let her do that over there. But don't let her get, don't let her infiltrate you guys' community. All right. So shout out to you. Great call. 443, you're on line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. This is your friend Elle from Baltimore, unfortunately.
All righty. What's going on?
Hey. So I have a couple of topics I wanted to talk about. So the first one I wanted to talk about was the direct deposit issues.
Yeah.
I've never heard of anything like it in my whole entire life. I'm only 27 years old. I know, from my voice, you probably can't believe it, but yes. Never had an issue. It's nonsense. The only time I had a direct deposit issue was my job was being very shady, where the boss would say, hey, you guys won't be able to get paid until Wednesday because of our industry, the stock market and blah, blah, blah. And, we don't have enough money in our escrow account. It was just a bunch of BS. So that was the only issue when I didn't get my direct deposit. But otherwise, no. It makes me wonder that if it's like a artificially created issue, like the so-called coin shortage, which was very prevalent throughout the pandemic. It still is a little bit now, but it's slowing down a lot. But it's just all odd. I think it's just planned so that we can be pushed further and further into accepting this new digital currency.
I believe you're right. I think there's definitely something to it. It's not just a random coincidence.
Yeah. And but I invest in the stock market. I also invest in commodities such as gold and oil. So I'm not too scared about it. But everybody should of course know about things that are going on with direct deposits because, we have bills today.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, it's not a game at all. You got real life things happening.
Yeah. My second topic is the migrant issue with Mayor Adams of New York. I know he wants to get other New Yorkers to house migrants. Funnily enough, I saw on Fox News today that Biden wants to pay other countries to help migrants. So my question is, will we be, as a taxpayer, being made to ship migrants to other countries? Will those countries accept our migrants? I'm not understanding why Biden is creating a problem and then he's pushing that problem off to other countries, whereas those countries don't send us any money. The only time I can remember a country actually sending us something of value was, I think it was some African tribe that had sent us 2 cows or 2 goats or whatever.
But beyond that, nothing.
As like a peace offering. But as far as anything else, I don't remember.
Right.
If I was those other countries, I would say, hey, it's not my problem. I don't understand how we could tell other countries what to do with their foreign policy. Biden is just a complete hot mess. I want to say something else, but I would get banned from your show, so I'm going to keep it clean. He created this problem with the border crisis. So now you make your bed, now you're going to have to sleep in it. But fortunately, we're all suffering. But I just can't wait until he gets out of office. And I'm positive that I'm not the only one that feels the same way.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. And staying on topic, I don't know if you heard, but Chicago has started construction on, I know, at least one migrant tent camp. I know that they want to make a second migrant tent camp. There has been protests against that. And also, I saw a video online. I'm not sure if it was on your channel, but there was like a line of hundreds and hundreds of migrants just passing through. I think it was maybe Chicago, and 95% of them were on their way to Chicago, and others were on their way to Houston and Louisiana. There were no women, no families, no children, just young men, very yoked, looked like they work out, 8 times a day, and had nothing in their hands except an envelope and a phone. So where's your tattered clothes? No black eyes. You don't look distressed. You just look like you're on a Sunday stroll going to the mall.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And it's very strange. And I've been seeing more and more videos of that, but all of the videos have been in Chicago. So I'm wondering why specifically Chicago? What is it about Chicago that they're sending all these young military-aged men to?
Well, they're going to the bigger cities, Chicago, New York, because they have resources and they identify as a sanctuary city. So it's like, all right, well, if you want to be a sanctuary city, no problem. We'll just take advantage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm going to something to keep your eye on. And my final thought is California. Does anything ever come out of that place that's good? They've always want to be the first for, depravity, perversion, wokeness, and NPC laws. My feelings on California is this. It's a tumor that keeps spreading its cancer to the rest of the U.S. And with that being said, thank you for letting me join your show, take my call, and have a good night.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Bye.
All right. So great call. 773 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL is your retired Chicago police officer friend. Thanks for taking my call. I'll be quick, ABL. Mostly, I'd like to pose a couple of questions to you, really. I think the state of the economy in America is such that they know Biden is not reelectable. He really isn't. I mean, I think they know he's done, and that there's no way with the state of the way things are that he can get reelected as president again on the whole. And they're trying as much as they can to disqualify Trump from being able to run. They're getting closer and closer as we inch closer and closer to 2024. I believe they're getting more and more desperate to not have Trump be eligible to run for president. And my question is, ABL, what do you think is going to happen as far as them running someone against Trump? Either they're going to wipe Trump out of the race completely, and I think that that's not going to work. So I'm wondering how they plan. It's always good to know what your opponent wants to do, how they plan to get their candidate the presidency, the next presidency. I mean, I don't see it. I mean, to me, Biden is just the most corrupt politician there ever was. I mean, just what you said about Hunter and, the job in Ukraine, energy and all that. There are no qualifications. I mean, what do you think is going to end up going to be the running tickets on both sides?
I think what'll happen is they're trying to just keep Trump wrapped up in the legal action, so he's not able to campaign effectively. So let's say he wants to do a Trump rally somewhere on a particular day. Well, he's got to go to court for that, for that day. So they're trying to keep him wrapped up in court action so he's not on the campaign trail as much. And then as far as the other side, they are going to try to run Joe Biden. They want to run Gavin Newsom, but they can't do it outright, because if they do it outright, then that would be acknowledging that Biden's not a good president, and they don't want to lose face like that. So what may end up happening is Biden might fall down again. This time he didn't get up right, and then they say, okay, for his health and for his family's sake, he's not going to run. And then they're going to sneak Gavin Newsom in there at the 0 hour and have him run against Trump. That might be their objective. I don't really see any other way of going about it.
Yeah, once again, I agree with you. I think that there's no way that they could let Biden run. And that's even more important than not having Trump run. They would like to get rid of Trump because they don't want Trump as president, obviously. They don't like him, and they just don't like him. And they want to destroy America, really, with their candidates. But I don't see them being able to win with Biden. And one way or another, they're going to get Biden off their ticket and get somebody else on there. I think you're right on the money there. That's my 2 cents. I'll keep it short, ABL, and thanks for taking my call. Talk to you later.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
All right. So shout out to you guys for calling. Shout out to a retired Chicago police officer friend for the last call. That will be a wrap for me. Thank y'all again for being here tonight. Could not do the show without you. If you like what you heard tonight, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. This is also a podcast you're listening to. It'll be available on your favorite audio streaming platforms, whether they be Google Play, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description, or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. If you're over there right now listening to the audio podcast, please give me a 5-star rating or review, whatever you can. I most certainly appreciate it. I'll be back live on Wednesday, same bat time, same bat place, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget, tonight is daylight saving time. Your clocks are going to go back 1 hour. So at 2 a.m. Eastern Time, it'll become 1 a.m. Eastern Time. So you gain 1 hour. So enjoy the 1 hour, but you're also going to have one less hour. Is that the right way to say it? 1 less hour of sunlight, but you get 1 more hour of sleep tonight. But then when it comes time for the spring, you're going to lose that hour of sleep, which is terrible. Anyway, you guys are being great. Shout out to everybody for being here, for watching, retweeting, super chatting, whatever you do. I could not do the show without you. Thank you to the mods for keeping the trolls in check. I appreciate y'all. And I have a handful of more super chats to read. Do I have them or not? Can we load them up? Okay, they don't want to load up. Let me see if I can just read some from a different place. Y'all give me 1 second. And then I wrap it on that, put the bow clean on top. All right, let's go over here. Got to go to the back end to see this. All right, let's go here. And here we go. Let's see. I believe I got everybody. They cleared them out. I think I got Kelly K. Thank you to Kelly, Monique, Marie. Shout out to you guys for the emoji super chats. I appreciate y'all. Thank you to Santo Bartes, who says, pro-Palestine protesters scaled the White House security fencing, smear red paint on the gates. Will they get the J6 treatment? We know the answer. Of course not. Of course not. That ain't gonna happen at all. Thank you to 66X for gifting 5 ABL memberships and being there as well. I appreciate you guys for helping the channel keep on growing. But that'll be a wrap for me. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out, and peace.